Hey everybody, how's it going? Don't worry about the noises you're hearing in the background. I'm not loading the shelves a little bit. Preloading.
Hello!
Oh, it's still doing Pikmin, that's why. There we go. Hey, welcome. This is Supermarket Together.
Oh, okay, yeah. There it is. The soup!
Boop-a-doop-a-doo.
It's the soup store!
Wait, how do I gotta remember how to do this quickly. There we go. So we're gonna be doing the crowd control. If you don't know what the crowd control is, then what are you doing here?
Honestly.
Actually, we'll do 75. We're setting up the basic products, and then we're gonna give y'all like free reign to just start messing with everything.
Yes, yes. Let you all settle in.
Yeah. Basically, we're gonna be doing a thing where if you sub or gift subs, we're gonna spin a wheel, and that wheel will cause us to do various things. Also the subs, or if you get 500 coins.
Yeah. 500 coins, or per sub. We're gonna spin. I don't know if we could show the wheel and go over the wheel because I would like to show off what the possibilities are. Basically, you spend crowd control coins. We make things happen in the game.
There it is.
We spin wheel.
Yeah.
We do things in real life.
So we've got, like, I have to play left-handed for 30 seconds. So it has to play blindfolded for 30 seconds. We've got Suit doing a 60-second art sketch. Each of us have, like, an exercise, so, like, 5 push-ups or 5 squats. And, or there's taking a random shot. And by random shot, I have, like, a fridge full of random stuff over here. And I'm gonna take a shot from it. Some of the stuff's good, some of the stuff's bad. Like, I've got some alcohol and water, but also there's, like, salsa and pickle brine and, and, like, hot sauce and stuff, so...
It's just terrifying.
It's just gonna be a random thing out of that fridge each time.
I got a blindfold for if I have to play something blind.
Yeah.
I mean, Tweek's gonna be guiding me.
Oh boy.
There's no way I'll be playing well.
We should put you on the register while you're blind, and you have to, like, punch in the numbers.
Oh god! By the way, did I mention that crowd control makes you do math?
Yes, yeah.
I hate it.
There's option to make us do math, so instead of telling us a number, it'll be like, you owe them, like, 13 plus 37 cents times 2 or something.
Yeah. But I've been wanting to check out Supermarket Together with CC for quite a while, because I also think it would be a really fun community thing to do.
I'll gnaw the jar for hidden coins, or drown my
unleash
disappointment in it.
Everybody into the store.
Obviously.
Yeah. Wow.
Trying to keep it from being set on fire.
I like that, Zip just said the pickle brine that I'm drinking is fake, because pickles aren't real, so... How dare. How dare. But yes, welcome. We're gonna start up, our store. Did you select your broom at the broom selector?
I think I have my broom. Let me see. Oh, no, no, I don't. It's not.
You gotta select it per game.
I like my shocky broom.
Oh, they sent milk. Wait, does milk have to go in a fridge? No. It looks like it's fine on the shelf.
Oh, that's weird.
Milk.
Milk.
It's shelf milk.
Oh.
Cool. Excellent. We're gonna have to.
Delicious shelf milk.
Broom. Okay.
It has to be like almond milk or something then for me to accept that.
150, sure. Sounds good. Just gonna randomly have to price things like it dropped in, because I've gonna have no idea what they are.
Oh yeah, we started completely fresh for this too, just to ruin it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna tase people with that thing.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. It will encourage customers to be on their best behavior.
Hello, sir. What are you buying? A lot of rice. Got it. $10. Okay, goodbye, sir. Apparently, people can be named as well. Like, you're able to spawn employees and and customers. I don't know if it copies your names or not exactly, but it's supposed to be pretty good.
You can get shelf milk, like extra pasteurized and completely sealed. The moment it's opened is when the clock starts, though. Oh.
And then it instantly becomes old milk.
Instantly curdles.
I need $12 back. Oh yeah, we just released the Gauntlet today too. For anyone that was waiting for that after watching it last Friday,
yeah,
go check that out.
Oh my god, like that was so much fun. I look forward to doing that again. Which will be soon.
Yeah. Things are going real slowly at the moment, but that's alright. I wonder if we can add aliens in again. That would be fun.
Oh my god, the aliens. I'm sure we can call them in. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But they keep every event.
Yeah.
We gotta pet the cat.
Oh, coin exchange 500. You know what that means?
That's a spin.
That's a
Bilbo,
spin.
thank you so much. That's a spin.
I might need you to do the register for a second.
Alright, yep, I'll switch places, and I swear to God if it is math.
There you go. You need to drop your broom somewhere, I think. Oh, you can do it with your broom?
Yeah,
okay.
I could broom and check out. Yo, that is amazing.
Okay, spin wheel, here we go.
Wait. I almost fucked up.
Oh, wow, it starts with a random shot. Okay. Woo!
Oh, it's time. What is it?
Let's see.
By the way, this isn't just alcohol. This is fridge items.
Hot sauce.
Oh, I gotta check these customers out. I'm sorry. What the hell? Are you making me return $40?
Okay, I got my hot sauce shot here.
And I got, like, I'm in my workout shorts.
It's gonna taste awful probably on its own.
Like, I'm in my workout shorts.
Ooh.
Got my tablet ready and my pen.
Oh.
Even a blindfold.
Well, that's weird.
Oh.
It was... Oh, sorry. It's... It tasted all right at first, and then it was immediate regret.
Oh.
Well, it's like a... Oh gosh, I don't even know what to call the hot sauce. It's that, that Stormtrooper hot sauce that we got given.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's decently hot. Probably similar to like habanero honey, I guess, but taking it just as a shot is weird. And there's no honey in it. Oh man, you got a lineup going. Did that make you do math? Is that what happened?
No, I don't think so.
Or just relearning how the cash register works too. It took me a little bit.
I got distracted because of your suffering.
Oh, okay. I do have pop here to get rid of the weird flavors that I'm going to experience. Oh. They sent more stuff. I'm going to go grab it. I can take over the register again if you... Oh my god, they sent a lot of stuff. Cheese. Oh, cheese. We can't do cheese. It doesn't... There's no spot for cheese. That needs a fridge.
Yeah, like, I'm fine for thou.
Milk?
So it's up to you. I don't mind switching.
I'm loading up the milk.
Brings me back to the unfortunate days in retail.
Oh, that's lingering with me.
Although, to be fair, cash stuff is kind of chill.
Ooh. I'm gonna
until, like, you got that rude customer, but I didn't mind it.
Okay, let's go with... I'm gonna grab stuff so we can actually sell all the stuff that they are sending us. Because I want to display the stuff that they're sending us. So we got fondue. Okay. And we've got cheese. It's gonna be real cheap. Until I can figure this out. How do I drop it? F? F. Okay. Aha. Okay, let's see. We can price that up to like $4.50. Yeah, there we go. And cheese is gonna be a highway robbery of $3. There we go.
Cheese.
Excellent. Just threw trash. Swiss is throwing trash on the ground. What the heck? How do I need a garbage? You need a broom. Oh, I need to broom up the trash. Okay. It actually says your name above all the trash, so you know who threw it. How dare. How dare you throw trash on the floor of our fine establishment. It's very chill at the supermarket. Ain't no hiding from this game, no.
Ah!
Well, Val threw trash on the ground. Oh yeah, there's just a banana peel. Oh, there's customers spawning. Oh my gosh, look at them all. Okay, so it didn't. So
many customers.
So it didn't name the customers, which is interesting. Come on, there's lots of Cobalt Val trash in here. Gotta clean all this up. Whoa! Just ignore that. I did not assault a customer outside of the store. No one saw anything. Oh wait, they do have the names. There's a Philbo Baggins and there's Philbo Baggins.
Oh!
It just wasn't showing because I wasn't close enough, I guess. Oh, and there's a Philbo Baggins. Wow, there's a lot of people here named Philbo Baggins.
Oh my goodness! Oh my god!
They are also this banana lady.
Many people, huh? I say that's either Tweaks doesn't browse the tabs or Rye practicing voices. I'll just nom coins while Lucy judges. Soot calls it art. Mythical menagerie forever, and pickles are not real.
Oh, we're almost out of rice. I'm gonna have to order us some rice. Boop. Okay, let's see. We're gonna need some rice, and some of that, and some of that, and some of that. Okay. Boop. Da-da-da-da. Wow, the world just flashed out of existence for a second there. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, everybody. I'm sure that's completely normal. Don't question the world exploding. Excellent. Honey cereal.
Whoa, hi GL.
Eldritch tax? What? Oh my gosh, did you just take all our money?
Excuse me?
Wow. I wasn't told about Eldritch taxes. What is it?
We were gonna play Jump Space together!
How dare. All the trash on the ground, too. Wow. Well, we should charge a litter tax. Yeah, look at all the litter. I gotta clean all this up. It's going in the garbage. Hello, hello.
Money, money, money.
Gotta clean that one up, and this one up, and this one up, and this one up. And, oh god, and this one up. Oh, the lights.
Did the lights just go off?
Yeah, the lights went off. Wait. Oh, we don't... Wait a second, what happened there? We don't have any lights. How did the lighting go off like that?
Oh!
I'm so confused. Okay, how do I change build tab? X.
Ooh.
I'm gonna buy some lights so people can mess with the lighting.
Yay! We got
money.
The tax return.
Yay!
The Eldritch blessing.
There we go. Okay.
Oh, thank you, kind Eldritch.
Do y'all want any other weird stuff? Because now you gave us some money. I can do like a ghost. I can do a ghost.
Wait, what? Oh, Craig, hi! I was like, wait, what? I have to tell you what just happened. My hatchling saw Suit and said, Daddy, look at you. Okay, that's cute. That's cute. And then I had to explain how there are more than one kobold.
There what?
Oh my god!
There is?
We got the customers. We got a spoopy ghost! We got a spoopy ghost! Look at it! I love it! It's Halloween!
I got a spoopy.
It's Halloween! How are you doing, Craig?
Yeah, how's it been hanging? I should get more shelves, too, just in case we get more products that we don't know how to sell. Like produce shelf. Oh, I can buy a self-checkout. Should we make them do some of the work? Like
oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's...
Just send some inventory. Whoa, hold on. Oh my god, look at this stacking job out here.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Well, we have sliced bread. That's the best thing since sliced bread.
Ah! Something exciting happened. Crossed the street today. A teenager burst their mower off. What? Did somebody cast fireball?
Oh, the fireball. Let's see. Bread.
Oh my gosh. It is sliced bread. How dare you subsidize the customer into wringing themselves out? Listen, as somebody with social anxiety that does not like engaging with people, I go to the self-checkout all the time.
You should go look at all the stuff they dropped off for us. There's a lot outside.
Those are good paying jobs you're eliminating. No, that's true. That's fair. Like...
Hey, Suit. Look at all the stuff they dropped off out here.
Holy shit, okay.
I think a lot of it is sliced bread, I'll be honest.
Gotta get rid of the broom.
Did Ciabatta send this? This seems suspicious.
Holy, is it a lot of bread?
I made a bread stand because there's so much bread.
Okay, it's either Ciabatta or Nan. Or maybe Dewey. Suspicious.
We just have a bread stand. Look at all that bread.
Suspish.
Okay.
Just grabbing all the boxes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bread.
Is it a lot of bread? A lot of bread.
Okay, I guess we have no more room for bread.
Oh, do we need more shelves?
Go in the corner.
Okay. What is this? I have no idea what this is, but it sounds cool. Let's put it up here.
So much bread.
I think it's tea.
Okay. That's the bread's corner.
Gotta fight the pre-bread. Oh yeah, wait, but you brought in more bread.
The pre-breads!
What are you looking for? Oh, more stuff.
Sugar.
Okay, coolio.
Hick, Spot. Sponsored by Delicious in Dungeon? Maybe. Tastes like stew and loot, huh? I thought it was a cooking show for dragons. Send snacks, not contracts. Asterisk. Burp asterisk.
Look at all the bread.
What about...
Bread.
Fondue?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks like it's...
Might be full. I don't think anyone bought fondue. No one likes fondue. Okay, what else can we get? Let's see. We can get tea.
Look at this bread shrine. It's amazing.
Dairy products. Okay, we need all these. We need green tea, lemon tea, black tea,
Phil,
peppermint tea. Bye. Okay, there's more stuff. I'm gonna buy us some more shelves.
Oh, damn. Okay, yogurt. I shall stock the yogurt.
Might need another fridge, too, if there's a lot of yogurt. Hmm? Didn't place it good enough, I think.
Got some fancy fruit yogurt.
Oh yeah. There we go. Now it fits. Perfect. More shelf space. Yeah. Okay, what else do we have?
Skimmed cheese.
Tea.
Yummy.
Okay. Tea is up. I'm gonna have to price things too after we put them on the shelves.
Yeah.
Definitely a social meal. Oh yeah. Lemon tea. Oh, this one looks like it'll stack well.
Just keep stocking. I'll let you price.
Excellent.
Look at all this wonderful stuff.
I want to put these small teas on the small shelf. Just seems to fit better.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab the pricing gun because there's only a few things left. Boop.
Ooh, peppermint.
Okay, let's see.
Peppermint.
You can be yogurt. Oh my gosh, we're gonna sell yogurt for $7.75, which seems absurd. That one's $4 yogurt, and this one's going to be $4.50.
Did anybody change the name of our store?
Oh, why?
It says Warped World.
Oh yeah, no, that's not us. Someone changed it.
Who did that?
Someone changed the name of our store. What the heck?
It's Warp World now.
Okay, yeah, we work at Warp World.
Wonderful, wonderful.
$6.50. Wow, this tea's expensive. $4
Gruyere
tea there.
Cheese.
$6 tea here. And $5.50 tea here. Okay.
So much cheese. This is just the dairy fridge.
Oh, the one at the bottom isn't priced, so let me do that one. We'll do it $5 cheese.
Oh my gosh.
There we go. Do we need
cheese
do we need any more
for
space?
Everyone.
Or were we good? We were able to fit all the stuff? Looks like it. Sweet.
I think we're fine.
Okay, let's close the store.
I think we're fine.
Yay, end of the working day. We did it.
Oh my god. What a day.
Excellent.
Holy shit, we made a lot of money. What the wait, no, we lost that. Never mind, never mind, that's what we lost.
Woo.
That's
Negative 8,000. We have a ghost now. We still have a lot of money. Let me make us some more stuff.
It's fine, it's fine.
Oh, we can make an anti-theft door. And another anti-theft door. There we go. Brooms, tablets, sails. Fire extinguisher? I wonder how important that is. 90,000 for a central price machine. Wow. Oh, we can get a Roomba? Oh, does the Roomba actually work? Hold on, how does this... Can I can't place it anywhere.
We have a Roomba?
I don't know. I can't place it. Am I too poor? No.
Are we haha poor? No, we have money.
Do I not have enough power, maybe? Is there like a power limit?
Oh, maybe. Oh, it's a lot of bread. We have so much bread.
Maybe there's a power limit.
We have, like, more bread than anything else.
Oh. Pay the power bill. Oh, is that why? We didn't pay any power bills?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess so.
Oh, no, it still does. Okay, there is a limit. Okay, let's open the store, see what happens. Yeah. Oh god, there's a customer on the street. Hit him with a broom.
Oh my god!
She's stuck in the crosswalk. Get off the crosswalk.
Ah!
Okay, that actually fixed her. I saved someone's life. Will they self-checkout, though, is the question. This has got to be up to fire code. The fire code is I want to light the store on fire. That's how you fire code. So we're doing I don't know if we told everybody what we're doing. So we're doing supermarket together for the first, like, half. So probably till about, like, I don't know, 9:30-ish? 9:30?
Or until we just feel like switching.
Yeah. And then we'll be switching to Ship of Harkinian, so you can mess with us in, Legend of Zeldor.
Yeah, we have super randomized it.
Yeah, it is, like, every patch of grass and everything randomized, too, so, like, it'll be insane. But you can all, like, give us stuff and take stuff away in the crowd control as well, so that should be a fun kind of mishmash.
But yeah, I wanted to see how Supermarket Together would be, because then we'll know if any of you would like this for a future community night.
Yeah.
Which would be really silly.
Yeah, we figured this, because it supports so many players, this game could be really interesting. Do the math. Okay, so...
I'm so happy it's you!
So they gave me $10, and... they owe $8.75. I think that's what that means. I'm not actually sure how it calculates it, but... So, $2.25? Oops, too many. Here we go.
Oh, yeah,
I just wasn't sure what the numbers mean to do the math. It's like, what are you telling me? Oh, nope, sorry. It's 25.
People were kind to me.
I wonder if you can, numpad input on here, although I can't do that with the thingy, VTube Studio, because then I'll start messing with my settings.
Oh yeah.
13. Okay, come on, customers. Give me all your money.
Who's this guy across from our shop?
Huh?
There's a dude. What the heck?
Oh, no, another do the math. They gave me $50, sir. Did you really need to? 38? No. 32. There we go.
Excuse me, our cheese is not expensive.
Wow. Wait, did I make a cheese too expensive?
He didn't like the Gruber cheese, or...
Oh, maybe I did make it too expensive.
How dare you talk about our cheese like that?
Cheese! Unless they...
This is our cheese!
Can chat change the price of things? That could have happened, too.
Oh, can't... It says $5. I know you priced it $5.
Okay, yeah, that seems fine. Well, let me see. Is it too expensive? Yes, it is too expensive. Damn it.
Just do like 450.
Yeah, 450. There we go. I overpriced it. I asked for more than double. 20, 25. Also, holy cow! I don't know if anyone has been like going as crazy as we have. There's so many games coming out right now.
Yeah, this week and next week. Oh man, so we're gonna be doing a lot of like newer stuff next week because of everything. Jump Space and Goblin cleanup launched, and also Sonic Crossworlds is next week as well.
And also
so we're gonna do a community night. And
also like the biggest Orcs Must Die update comes out too.
Oh yeah, Halloween events are also kicking off, plus they're doing like a combo. It's like it's Orktober plus a big update.
I haven't even been commenting, but I've been doing the math.
Cube Father, hello!
Welcome.
Can we get a shout out for Cube Father?
How's it going? Has everything exploded already? I'm sure all the stuff has exploded.
Yeah, maybe.
We need 7, 6, 25. Oh yeah. I've got the map.
You can't make fun of Mirror if you weren't there. Stop being mean.
The map can't stop you now.
That was weird. Fortune Pen, just here for the true cashier experience, yes.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the true experience right here.
Sir, our machine's not working. I have to do the math in my head. that seems
You gonna
like
buy some cheese?
The normal experience.
Our finest of cheeses are right here.
Yeah. All the cheeses. Haha. $14. Oh no. $14.
What?
Just being at the register, it's like $14. Oh god, I pushed the wrong buttons! Don't panic! Don't panic!
Everyone panics!
Oh, did I get that wrong? Oh no! I fucked it up! I can't go back! I fucked it up too hard!
Oh!
Hold on, let me go back to the beginning. Okay. So it's 50, 20. Oh, I need to go the other way, that's why. It should be... There we go. I was counting it the opposite way. God damn. No wonder I had it wrong. Okay. So this is 25's above. There we go. See, now my brain can think of it.
Your brain cell has reactivated. Ah, good. The hot sauce shots cooked your brain.
Oh yeah, they've already cooked it. Oh yeah, for anyone wondering too, we're doing a thing right now where if you get a sub or gift a sub, we are spinning a wheel to see what happens. And it's a whole bunch of different stuff that can happen.
Yeah. So we're doing this for a little bit, and then we're gonna be switching to Legend of Zelda Ship of Harkinian, which is a decompiled
Look at all the bread. Has anyone bought any bread?
A Zelda mod. My brain just like broke there. I don't know why.
No one's bought a single slice of bread.
But it's a really fun Legend of Zelda mod. That you can randomize the hell out of it in a... You can play co-op, either as the fairy...
Yeah.
Or another Link. I think that...
Yeah, there's ways to do
an
other
option
links,
for both. Yeah. But honestly, being the fairy is just the best. It is the most chaos.
Oh yeah.
But we've done it a couple times. Tweak on his own and together. But I have not played it really randomized. So we went just
more
nutty.
bread? Oh no, no more bread. Okay. We are currently
like even the grass. Even the grass
is
randomized.
Grass is random. Yeah, that's gonna be hell. We might want to start that a little earlier than halfway, just because of how much is in it.
I figured this be the warm up.
Hey, play this till like 8:30.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. 225.
Bread was warped here. Look at our beautiful bread shrine.
Yeah.
The breadiest.
No one's buying any though.
No one wants our bread!
Yeah, no one wants the bread. Wait, what? 26, 25. That was weird. It said I was right at 26. I'm like, that's not correct. The game did math wrong. The game's math was wrong.
The bread is getting the yeast of your sales!
There's so much bread. Maybe it's because we don't have bread unlocked on the board. Is this bread? Slice bread. There we go. I unlocked it on the board.
Oh my god, take our bread! Look at our beautiful bread shrine. You wanted this bread. Look at me, sir. You want this bread. You're gonna take this bread.
We have...
You will put it in your mouth.
None of that, none of that, none of that, none of that, none of that. Okay, buy them all. Cool. Now there's more stuff to stock. Good luck. Or do you want to do... Oh god, it's still math. You might not want to do the registry.
No, you can handle it.
Do you know how to stock and price the products?
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck. Yeah, fuck it. You can have 40 bucks back. That was definitely incorrect, but they didn't care, so it's fine. I'm being nice today. Power coercion. Don't worry, I'll break his legs for the extra money I give him later.
Yeah. Of course.
They bought bread! Did you come here for one slice of cheese? What a man.
He just wants the cheese!
Okay. You've been shelving more stuff. That's price. This is new.
Yeah, I think this is new. We do not have pepper. This is like nice pepper.
Oh god. Damn it, that customer reset the price. Damn it, that customer reset the price again.
Wait, what? Why are they resetting?
Oh, because they're walking in front of me while I'm trying to set the price. It resets the price for me.
Do we have the olive oil? No, I don't think we do.
Okay. I'm just gonna leave this on the ground right here. For setting prices. Oh god, they're buying stuff before we're setting prices. Now the math is going crazy. Sure, $2. I don't care. Take it. The math was all easy, and now it's gonna be crazy hard.
Wrong, I thought this was also fridge. What do you mean wrong?
It doesn't need a freezer? There's a freezer and a fridge.
Oh! Yeah, we don't have enough freezer space, so I might just keep this in storage for a bit.
Yeah, I would just leave it there. Okay, I got some registers. Did you place anything else over here? Olive oil.
I got flour. Do we already
Holy
have
cow,
flour
olive
out?
oil is expensive. Hold on, let me price this up at like $14.
Oh, that's not flour. Flour. Flour.
$14 olive oil. Oh yeah.
There we go. Ah yeah.
Okay. $14 olive oil. Everyone pays $14 for olive oil, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is where the fun begins, honestly. Trying to keep up with the... Oh, no! Okay, 24... 80... 7? Oh, wait, why is it... Oh, it didn't go to 24.
Oh my gosh! Philbo! Oh, thank you!
Oh,
we got a spin!
We got a spin again.
Alright! What
able...
is it gonna be?
Are you able to do the register? It's gonna be math.
I'll do a register!
Okay. Okay, let's see what the spin wheel is.
What's it gonna be? Oh!
$14 for olive oil. Dude has to blindfold themselves for 30 seconds.
Okay. Alright.
I'm sure that'll be fine. Are you sure you want to be on cash register?
Probably. I don't know if I should be.
Okay.
I'll just help the customers. It's fine.
Here, hold on. Grab a broom before you blindfold yourself.
Best customer service. Okay.
And then you can just run around being customer service while blind with a broom.
Yeah, customer service.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay, I'm just like, adjusting, putting it on. I actually have a blindfold. Look, look.
Oh, your model's eyes are closed too. That's awesome.
Okay. Alright, I'm good. Alright.
Excellent.
I can't see shit. Where's my keyboard?
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Alright,
So if you walk forward...
I'm out there somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am, but I'm just I'm clicking.
You're in the middle of the street, it's fine. You're just walking by the
It's
hot
totally
dog
fine,
stand.
I'm just in the middle of the street. It's wild kobold in the streets! It's wild kobold in the streets!
It's kind of funny you haven't hit anybody yet, you're just walking in the middle of the sidewalk.
It's a wild rabbit kobold! Everybody run! She's feral! I can't tell what I'm doing!
I'm sure it's fine.
Ah!
You're doing fine.
I want to whack somebody!
Well, at the moment you're trapped in the store.
I'm like a fly!
You came all the way to the store. Yeah. If you turn around 180 degrees.
Oh god, how do I turn?
Keep going.
Am I turning?
Yeah, you're turning. Keep going.
Am I turning?
Okay, stop. Now go forward. And stop. You're on the sidewalk. Start clicking. Oh. And now you're in the middle of the road.
I can't.
Oh, so close. Go forward. Yeah, you go on.
I got somebody.
Yeah, you did.
I got somebody.
Excellent.
Oh yes.
That's probably been your 30 seconds anyway. The store ended up closing while you were blindfolded.
Okay. Oh. Great customer service.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I need to get you to slap one person.
Oh. That's gonna be amazing in
feel like,
Zelda.
Yeah, I feel like both of them are silly here, but in Zelda they're actually gonna be like interesting. Cool. Start the next workday. Whoop.
Yay! Oh, we got a pumpkin!
Oh, they put me in jail.
Haha, you're in jail.
Can't keep a good robber down.
Oh.
Aha. $14 for olive oils, Kermit. You want me to make it more expensive? You're right, it's not expensive enough. Man, I wish there was a mod where you could just price it to whatever you want, and then you could just literally be a criminal. Because they won't buy anything if it's over double price, but... but it would be really funny if you could just be like, this slice of cheese, $20. This yogurt, $20. Oh man, we are out of stuff.
Oh.
We need some of that, and 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 some of that. Okay. There we go. Boop. Rice on the rice shelf. You don't have room for this. What do you mean? Was I trying to put the customer in the box? That's
Please
weird.
take yourself out.
That's a lot of salt. Okay, we got Wander. Where's the Wander down here? Gotta get some extra Wander here. If only I could overcharge everything and be my true goblin self. I feel like it would be a little more exciting.
Oh, yes.
I want a highway robbery, everybody. Olive oil so far is my only robbery price.
No, you have to go harder.
Yeah. I have no idea what would happen if I overpriced everything in the store to the point where they would not buy it anymore.
No.
Oh wait, this still has stuff. God, there was extra mint tea. How's the keeping going? How's the?
It's been pretty good. It's been
no
chill.
math yet.
No math.
Excellent, excellent. I'm filling up the ches. Man, cheese only being $3 is highway robberying me. That cheese should be $15. Do we have any, like, yogurt? Everything's bread.
You better be ready.
Everything is bread. People are buying the $14 olive oil, which is insane to me. Like, what's wrong with them? Who would buy $14 olive oil? I wouldn't. I would ugly cry for $15 cheese.
Yeah. Yeah.
But would it be worth it? No. The answer is no. It wouldn't. What the heck? There's just margarine in the corner?
Hello, Alice! How's it going?
Hello, hello. We need a new fridge. Double fridge. There we go.
Hunt and ghost?
Nice, nice.
Ooh. Like in Phasmo or something? Or like are you going on like an actual like ghost tour? Cause like those are cool.
One of these things is cooler than the other. There we go. We also need a new storage shelf. Storage shelf. Oops. Oh no. I just placed it randomly instead of actually, placing it.
Now I'm watching from an abandoned warehouse? Oh, neat. Okay, so you're like...
That's cool.
You're like out there checking out things yourself. That's cool.
Yeah. Going full spookum. I like how we need to put the yogurt in the fridge, but nah, cardboard box in the back room, that's fine.
We are Phasmoing, okay.
I mean, you never know. It could have been an abandoned warehouse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can't believe it can change the text on top of the store. That's kind of cool. Oh yeah, I put a plant in your terminal. I don't know if you saw that, but
I love it.
It's probably some
It
horrific
reminds
disease.
me of something from Abiotic Factor.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Kind of does look like that.
Yeah, we have a lot of haunted locations in our area as well.
Oh, actually, you know what? It's September. You know what that means? Christmas season! Yay!
No.
Christmas! Dee 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 dee. This is so sacrilegious.
No. I already know what's gonna happen. Every time I get excited for Halloween and stuff, and then someone starts talking about Christmas, and it's like, listen, keep the holidays. Just keep them separate. And people are like, well, I don't like it when people get excited for Halloween early too. So like, and it's like,
no one
gets
excited for Halloween.
That's fine. But just like, keep them in their own lane.
Yeah.
I'm already sick of going into stores in like, freaking. I think like already there's gonna be like a split of Halloween decorations and Christmas.
Oh yeah.
And it's still gonna be October.
I'll trade with you if you want to go around and beat up people.
Sure, I'll trade. That's my beef with it.
Then you can check out the stuff outside too.
Oh yeah. But like Halloween is like my time.
We're doing dollar days today. I'm just gonna save you the money up to the nearest dollar. There you go. That's how you get around it. You save money up to the nearest dollar.
What's there before Halloween? Easter?
Yeah, Easter starts in the beginning of December.
I'll be honest, I forget about Easter so often until, like, it's there, and I just get excited about the chocolate.
Yeah. Halloween starts in the summer. Summer starts in the winter.
It seems almost like...
Christmas starts in summer as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the
People don't give any rest for Christmas.
I was gonna say, I think that's the actual problem with the people that are, like, stop celebrating Halloween so early. The problem is... people start celebrating Christmas in summer, so there isn't any time to celebrate Halloween. Like, it just doesn't.
Let me have my spooktacular event.
Did you see the stuff outside? Did you like it?
I hate it. I hate it.
Inside the store is Halloween.
It's fucking illegal. It's fucking illegal. Like, I mean, to be fair, once we do get to Christmas, I kind of do more of a Nightmare Before Christmas setup. Where I've like I made a lot of the stuff myself. I want to add on more to it. So, in a way, I guess like I'm no better, but
but it's because of the Halloween influence, not the Christmas influence.
Listen, I just want to enjoy my holiday.
Some of our holiday movies that we watch are all like dark comedies and stuff. Like gosh, what was it? We watched.
You talking about
like,
for Christmas?
Yeah, there's like Krampus and Black Friday,
Krampus.
and like we watch all those kind of.
Violent Nights.
Tea
is a really good one.
Tea.
Do we need tea? Oh heck, oh tea.
That's lemon tea. Black tea.
We got a milk brick.
Milk brick. Just spawned some inventory. Sugar. Yay.
I don't know why it's called milk brick.
Sugar. Because it's a brick of milk. There's no actual liquid. It's just solid milk.
It's just solid.
We sell solid milk in bricks. You get 50% more milk per pound. Because everyone measures milk in pounds, right? Oh my god.
But
you mean mozzarella?
On the topic
oh, you're
of,
right.
Halloween, and we're almost up. We're literally like a week from October. We have so much planned, and I'm also like, I am so excited to stream Goblin Cleanup. Oh my gosh, I'm probably gonna stream quite a bit. Just a little bit. It is,
I'm just picturing,
so
like,
perfect.
sour milk in a solid brick and being carved like a meatloaf now.
And Orktober coming to, Orcs Must Die
oh, wait,
Death
no,
Trap.
28.
And we have, like, some actual, like, spooky games on the list as well.
I suppose milk is in pints. Beer as well.
He needs some milk! Hello, little light.
Beer is sold in pints because it's close. It's close to pisses, and that's what beer is. It's just a rental.
Oh gosh. But no, Goblin Cleanup is so good. And yeah, I was playing a bit earlier. I'm excited to stream it and like hopefully collab with people and stuff. Oh.
Need some milk! Oh god, is there more milk coming? Should I be afraid?
Milk? Oh! Oh! We have some milk.
Oh no!
Just a little bit.
Oh,
a little bit of milk.
Well, you can fill up that shelf and then you can make another milk shelf if you want.
Guess we're making a milk shelf. For all of the milk.
$8.75. $12. Here you go. You get an extra 25 cents. That's right. I gave that person 25 cents. Because now they owe me. And if you owe me 25 cents, I will collect or break your legs.
I hope y'all like milk. I hope y'all like milk.
They're all following. They're all falling for the Goblin Gambit, which is I'm giving them like a couple pennies, but contractually that lets me break their legs in the future. That's just the Fae tactics going, you know. If I give them a little bit of money, it's a favor, and then they owe me. It's perfect. Man, these people do not work healthy store lives, though. Starting at like 6 a.m. and working till 1 a.m. It's like, geez.
Oh.
I guess you don't exist.
Oh, man.
Boop-a-doop-doo. $2. You owe me a soul. Okay.
Where'd my broom go?
Good question.
Okay, we're good.
$20. You owe me a firstborn. Okay, next. Excellent. Your supply of coffee. Okay.
Ba, 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 ba.
Oh, are we good? Did we survive? I think we did.
Oh,
we did it. We survived. 82 customers.
Oh.
Woo!
Oh god.
How do we make more Angie people start showing up? Is it? Hold on.
I wish we could get the aliens going.
Can I set that in options? Can I increase the difficulty so that more people start attacking us? Oh, I should probably close that too. There's probably a way to do that somewhere. We can order more products. We can get Coca-Cola, tuna, or pizza. Frozen foods, basically.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll get frozen foods. Pay our electrical bill. Frozen food, pizza, ham. Oh, now we'll be able to sell our fondue.
Fondue!
Let's go. Grab all the shizness.
Oh my god! Green beans! Green beans!
They go in the freezer.
Yeah, I don't think there's room. Oh, this is freezer.
Yeah. Crispy potato. Potato. I like me some crispy. Holy cow! Our storage shelf is full of milk.
So much milk and bread.
French fries. Everyone likes French fries. Okay, French fries.
Oh, pizza!
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 Excellent. Okay, so that one's there. This can be $5 for pierogies.
Oh.
$8 for green beans. Man, I'm a monster. Ooh. $7.75 for potatoes.
We hired an employee?
You did? Ooh, what do they do? French fries are gonna be $8.
Oh my god.
What's that? Cheese crepes? I don't even know what that is, but that sounds like a $6 item to me. Frozen pizza, that's at least $4.50. At least. There we go. Okay. Customers will have strong bones and nothing else. Exactly.
Yes. The strongest.
Wow, we got so much milk. Did we make more milk shelf? Let's make more milk shelf.
I mean, yeah, I think we need more milk shelf.
Oh god, there's more inventory.
Okay, I'm on my way.
Oh, we're out of peppermint tea as well.
Alright. Got rice.
Oh
rice.
My god. Oh, right. Okay. Do we need more rice area now too? Is this all rice? Oh, peppermint tea. Oh, thank you.
We got peppermint. More rice. More rice.
More rice.
I'm gonna go like. We're gonna. Hey!
Wait. What's going on?
Fine.
Okay. All the rice. No. Just completed 2 missions. Hello, Just Love Light. How's it going? Welcome to Rice, Milk, and Bread Mart. Oh, they bought bread. Look, we can place more bread on the bread.
Oh my god, there's a spot missing. Oh my god, they've been buying the bread.
Hold on, I think I have an idea for milk. I think we're gonna adjust the milk a bit because we got a lot of milk. So I want to invest in a milk shelf as well because chat seems to like milk.
I am the source of the milk. Well, thank you. Our customers are gonna be so big and strong.
Okay. Okay. Let me grab a product shelf. We need a fancy one for the milk shelf. We could do one. Oh, you know what? let me do this. Fancy milk shelf right here.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, this is our milk area.
Oh my god. Okay, I'll go grab a box.
Oh wow, this holds a lot more than I thought. We might only need one of these for milk. The premium milk display, yeah.
Just little light, remember reading a cursed tome can be dangerous. You find LVL -2. Unexpected hate raid. You've lost 100 guild coins.
Unexpected hate raid, that's unfortunate.
Premium milk!
Oh, that was me. I was hitting the wrong shelf. I was like, why is milk going on that shelf? Okay, that's good. If we have extra milk, we can keep it in the back. Look at that premium milk shelf, though. That's awesome. Okay, so the other milk shelves are empty now. We can put other stuff there.
Good.
Let's see what else we need to restock. Do we have anything in the back? Did people
buy rice?
Buy fondue? No one bought fondue.
Do you have a rice spot? Yeah, we do.
Penne pasta. Yep. Okay, penne pasta. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no lights, I'm sorry.
Yogurts. Okay, vanilla yogurt's gone.
The yogurt.
That's what, there's other yogurt. Okay, do we need anything else refilled? It looks like we might have some close to empty shelves. We pull out the iPad. We could use a little bit more of that and that. We could use some more of that, some more water, some more of those, some more of that, some more of that. Some more of that, some more of that. Okay, there we go. All ordered.
Alright.
Ketchup!
I'm just gonna be stocking.
We put that on everything here in Canada. There's ketchup on our chips, ketchup on our Kraft dinner, ketchup on our ketchup-flavored ketchup.
Yay!
I mean, sometimes people do put ketchup on their ketchup chips, which is kind of crazy. But,
ew.
Yeah.
That's...
That one's not one of mine either, but some people do that in Canada. I like vinegar on fries. Yeah, vinegar on fries is good. I like to dip my fries in, like, a spicy mayo.
Oh yeah, I've been getting into that more too, since like especially sweet potato fries. Oh.
Yeah. You can just assign an employee to auto-restock shelves. Oh wait, yeah, we got an employee. Will they?
Yeah, where's the I don't know where the employee is.
Yeah, how do we tell where our employee is? Is there like an employee area maybe? Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, yeah, where is
Manager board, employees. Max employees, hired employees. Assignment. Employee. Oh, it's just a little light. Okay. How do I assign you? No task. You are a restocker. There. Where are they? Are they going? Hey, there they are! Oh, do they need, like, happy stuff in the employee lounge? Is that why they're unhappy? Hold on, let me get the staff room, so.
Gotta keep them happy!
Yeah, we'll do a little kitchenette. Private fridge. Oh, we're poor! Where'd all our money go?
Oh my god, we're poor!
We gotta open the store, we're too poor.
We're poor! Sorry, I was petting a cat.
We're too poor.
I didn't think that would cause all this.
We're poor. We've lost all of our money.
Oh my god!
How dare!
Oh my god!
The fondue is a loss. You're right. Is our restocker doing the restocking? Where'd they go?
I saw them going out with a box.
Yeah, they're getting stuff. Good job, Little Light. Doing that restocking for us. Cool, now we don't have to worry about restocking.
Excellent.
Look at all those people buying all of our overpriced garbage. Oh my god, that's a lot of money. Now we can make the employees happy.
Whoa!
Okay, I will be back.
Oh my god!
We gotta have happy employees. We also need a coffee machine. There's no way we can have an employee lounge without a coffee machine. That is mandatory. Snack machine. Soda machine. Taste the lemon. No, the dart machine sounds like a hazard. Let's put the dart machine right by the door so that people get hit with darts as they come in. Oh, we gotta have arcades. Our place is gonna look fantastic.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're too poor. Okay, I bought too much stuff. That's fine. That's fine. I bought too much stuff. Oh god, the cashier. Yeah, hold on, let me get your stuff. $22. That's $28. Oh, there we go. Excellent. $12. That's 38. Excellent, excellent. $1.50 out of $5. $3.50. $3.50.
$3.50.
That was a Loch Ness monster. Okay.
Oh!
They want $3.50. Oh, stuff is spawning outside. Just a heads up.
Oh, yep. Oh my god, what is all this? Fondue!
Oh no, the stuff that's not selling.
Okay. Thanks.
Why did they stack the pizza on its side there? That doesn't make sense.
Also, hello, Striker! How's it going?
So much fondue. We can't sell it. Nobody wants our fondue for some reason. Actually,
it's all fondue.
That's beautiful. I love it. Ketchup and fondue. I don't know what this lady's planning this evening, but...
Been doing good.
Yeah.
I played a bit of Goblin cleanup today. And Jump Space also came out. So I'm like, that's what I'm gonna be spending this weekend doing, most likely.
Okay, all the fondue is on the shelf. I'm gonna buy some more storage shelves.
We're running this fabulous shop.
Yay.
You all are helping us with. It's fantastic.
Yes, helping.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, there's a lot of people at the register again. Okay, hold on, I got you. Welcome to Christmas Halloween Supermarket Land. How's it going?
Yes.
When you're outside, it's Christmas, and when you're inside, it's Halloween.
I just spawned fondue.
Strange. There's a lot of fondue outside. I'm sure the frozen fondue will not go bad sitting on the street corner. Oh, okay.
I took it all in. Yeah, we have a big pile of fondue. Oh my gosh, she organized it all. She's organizing all our stock. I'm
sure all the fondue sitting in the back room will not go bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo! Thank you, Philbo!
Oh, tier 1 sub. That means we gotta do another spin.
Spin!
Okay, I'm gonna have to put you in charge of the register again for a sec.
Yep. Actually, I can use my broom.
As I bring up the spin wheel.
It's spin time! Spin time!
Oh god damn, again? Okay. Here we go again.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, what's the next thing I have in the fridge? Let's see. We have salsa next. I'm gonna take a shot of salsa. That should be interesting. That might not be too bad. Okay, here I go. It's odd having it without, like, a chip, but it's not bad. Salsa's not a bad one.
Yeah, salsa's probably not the worst. You dip stuff into it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, the hot sauce one was kind of bad because of the aftertaste. Like, just pure hot sauce just kind of, like, lingers in your throat for a while, but... Oh, it seems actually edible, yeah. Yeah, I just tried to... I grabbed a whole bunch of stuff from the fridge that I'm like, you wouldn't normally just have a shot of. And I'm like, this will kind of be the stuff we do, you know? Yeah, we still have a couple other things in there, too. Like, I've got a couple kinds of hot sauce. I've also got a, Frank's Red Hot in there, too. That'll be one of the ones I take a shot of, which is gonna suck, because that's basically vinegar. I've got pickle brine in there. I thought about doing a shot of syrup as one of the options, because it's, like, molassesy. So even though it would probably taste good, it'd be really weird to try and take a shot of that. But then there's also, like, coffee liqueur and just, like, a thing of water in there. So depending on whatever was next in the fridge there. So there's some good ones and some bad ones. Oh god, you know what I could do a shot of, and I don't know why I'm suggesting this. I could add, like, a shot of, like, the spicy mayo just on its own.
Oh.
That would be so weird. Just, like, mayo as a shot is a weird... There are a lot of people that would eat, like, mayo just on its own, don't get me wrong, but, like, that's just not something that usually entices me.
Eating it on its own is just like, nah, I'm good.
So for me, that sounds like a terrible shot. That isn't right. Oh, garlic. Wait, you made garlic hot sauce? That sounds good. Sorry, I didn't see that. That sounds good.
No, listen, that sounds great.
Yeah. Oh.
What?
There's a hype train. Woo!
We have a hype train.
Why is it coming through? Oh, what the heck?
Wait, what happened? Did we miss something?
Why did...
Or is it just delayed?
Yeah, was it that delayed?
Look, there's a little train!
That was strange. Yeah, wait. It said... Why did that trigger? There was one subscription. That's not a hype... I mean, I appreciate it. Oh, crowd control coins do contribute to triggering a hype train.
It's the coins, too.
Yeah, that might be
why. Yeah, that's why.
Oh, it has been doing that lately in general? Oh, that's good to know. Interesting. So Twitch has been a little borky on that.
We all know Twitch has been drunk.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. Nothing weird's happening.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
I'm hearing all the money. My favorite goblin noises. Cha-chings. We need some lighting in there. That's kind of dreary. There we go. Yay! We now have a freezer section. Make my own mustards and hot sauces? Ooh, that does sound good. Bullish form? Sure.
Oh! Oh god. I have to work with the Twilight.
Yeah, not work quick. Work full. Get back to work, minion.
I'm working.
Do them monies.
I'm working.
They need to go toward our healthcare fund.
No.
Oh, what's this? You're against healthcare? What the hell?
Why do you need healthcare?
How do you think I keep these bones in such good shape? How do you think I keep hiring minions? They don't want to do evil for free. That would be evil. Oh, wait.
You got me there.
Yeah.
It's unhealthcare.
Unhealthcare. We offer life insurance plans. If you die, you become a minion.
Ah!
We give you eternal life as a minion.
I would like to not be a minion. I don't wanna.
Why did this woman tell me to hit her harder? What the heck?
No! No!
What does that mean? Should I be afraid? I don't like.
I don't like that.
Oh heck!
Some of the customers are a tad freaky.
Just a tad freaky. This produce shelf is empty. Why is it empty? Oh wait, we don't have produce.
Wah!
Problem solved. I'm dumb.
Oh my god!
We now have orange juice, barbecue sauce, tuna, spaghetti, moutarde, fiber cereal, and supreme flour.
I never thought I'd see the Twilight at the supermarket.
Oh, heck. Everyone's gotta eat, and eating means the good monies. Oh no, they're buying it before I can set the price. Put it back, you sons of bitches.
Yay, dirty bean water.
Tuna, one whole box of cobalt, hold on.
Why is my price under the market price? What the heck?
You're doing great.
There we go, $8 tuna. Time for some mustard. Okay, price the mustard before they try and take it. $5 mustard. Oh, there's trash.
They would be proud, and they would also not be if it's on the top shelf.
Oh, heck. It's on the middle shelf. Should I put it higher?
Put it higher. Just a little bit. Just in case.
Somebody touch my spaghetti.
We gotta protect the tuna. It's for protection. It's fine. Oh, there's no more customers. There's bananas on the floor.
Yes.
Look at all this trash.
They've been trashing the place.
How rude. Oh, wait, that's a scanner.
Yes. This store makes no sense. The way I've designed it, there's no cereal section or anything. Why is everything underpriced? I don't understand. What the heck? Why is everything underpriced? I don't... Why is this... What the heck?
cheese.
Did market value change? Is that what's going on?
Do we have orange? Orange juice.
$5 ketchup. Olive oil? $16 olive oil.
Oh God.
That's right. $16, $4 orange juice.
Everything's different. I was at the cash register too long.
Excellent, excellent. Excellent. Everything's looking in order. Everything's looking good.
Cash up. Cash up. Stocking the $5 cash up. Wait, why is it not? What do you mean? It's not the same ketchup? Why? That's stupid!
Oh, you got barbecue sauce, probably.
Oh, that's not... Oh, it's just barbecue sauce.
If I can find a box, let me take that milk down and you can put it there.
Okay.
Do we have an extra milk box? We do not. Okay, so we might need to make another shelf. I can build one along this wall. Let me see if I'll just make a small shelf.
You do now. Hello, Rye.
Hello, hello. Welcome. Half shelf it is, I guess. Oh, it doesn't fit. This is gonna look really dumb. You ready?
I like milk.
There we go. I made a dumb shelf. You're welcome.
Okay.
It's in such a bad spot. Oh my god, that's so much money! What's with all the money?
Money!
Oh, look at this flour here. That's a $3 flour. Look at this barbecue sauce. That barbecue sauce is going to be...
There's a tower of milk.
$4.50. Oh, yeah.
So much milk. So much.
Oh, we didn't save an empty box. Can I buy an empty box? Is that allowed? Oh wait, no, there's a thingy. Excellent, I took the milk. Okay, the shelf is now empty. We got so much rice, I'm gonna put some rice there. Rice, milk, and bread. Buy it here. That's fondue.
Bread.
Excellent. How is our employee liking their new workspace? They still hate it. Why do they hate it?
More milk, yay!
Why do they hate their job? I don't understand. Staff room happiness is 0. What do you mean?
Look, I can add it to the milk shelf.
Look at the happiness I have in here. What the hell? Coffee, soda, snacks, dart machine. Do you want fucking arcade Space Wars? Have an arcade Space War. There you go. Treasure Island. Robot catcher.
Gosh.
A fucking Nijaratara simulator. Is it because we don't have a basic chairs? There you go. Look at this amazing break room.
Make the shop so sexy people will have to buy. They'll just be compelled by with their wallet.
They still hate it. Oh, the governor.
Oh my god.
I have some Twi'lek words of wisdom for you. Humans generally have 2 kidneys, and I'm taking one.
Yes, I'll take that kidney. I'm gonna take a kidney.
Oh, the milk shelf.
Kidneys. Why is there so much milk?
So much milk!
Why is there so much milk on the floor? Shall we do one more day?
We do not. Yeah, sounds good.
Boop.
Ah! I was stuck in here.
Oh, yes. Don't worry, we have socialized healthcare. You lose your kidney, but you get dental.
Yep. To be fair, he does have really good dental.
Dental. Oh, look how big the store is.
It's massive.
It's white like my bones.
Yeah, we need wallpaper. We need to decorate.
Yeah, we should. What's the wallpaper button? It's probably somewhere. We should probably get another frozen food thingy too.
Yeah, I feel like we might need it.
Ceiling sign, crowd barrier. Ceiling vent. Oh, we can be sussy.
Sussy.
Fire alarms, benches. We can put a fucking fountain in here. Holy shite. What the heck? That's too fancy.
Yeah, that's fancy.
How do we wallpaper? Hold on, I'm gonna change my tweet. How do we wallpaper? Is it something?
Thank goodness this skeleton man was terrorizing me.
There's gotta be a wallpaper button somewhere. Oh my gosh, I have to pay salary? Fine. I'm still a skeleton. Skeleton without a kidney? There's gotta be something for floors. I'm sure we've done it before. Maybe I'm crazy? Ceiling sign. I thought it would have been in decoration. Plants? Oh, there's plants too. Devices, lights, seasonal, staff room, Christmas, architecture. Maybe it's architecture. Paintable divider. See, it says stuff's paintable. Do I have to unlock painting, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not actually sure.
No, I don't see painting on here.
I just figured it's something you buy like the other decorations.
That's a skeleton I don't have kidney. You know what? That's fair.
Damn.
Ah! Oh, it's part of the like extra section. Okay.
Oh.
How fancy do we want it to be?
Spoopy.
Do you want it to be like a dungeon? I could make it the store out of rocks.
Ooh.
Like that.
Welcome to the dungeon market.
Here goes all our money!
Oh my god, it's like actually every individual tile.
Yeah, it kinda sucks. Look at how expensive it is just to turn the shop into rocks.
Oh my god!
Okay, let's see what we have for walls, at least. Nope, that doesn't work for...
There's a lot of rock and stone.
Wait, is this only for floors? Let me see. Is there one for... No, they're all the same. Store tiles. Store tiles. Okay, interesting. Thought there might be one that was, like, for wall tiles instead.
Oh.
God, I can make it look like a disaster if I really wanted to. Like, I could go, like... And in the freezer section, we have... It looks so bad. I don't know what I'm doing. Look how awful this looks as a grocery store.
Oh my god. We kind of just like downgraded it.
Yep, I made it worse. Now they have to walk on metal studded floor to go get their groceries. This is fine.
Oh my god, we lost so much money.
Yep, it was all worth it to make the store look hideous. Let's open her up. There's like one set of tile right where the cashier gets to stand. That's the only nice spot.
Well,
that's one way to enforce a no shoes policy. Yes, if you wear no shoes, it's not that you get no service, it's that your feet will start bleeding from the metal floor.
We just added some friendly traps.
Yeah, exactly. See, there's that one's smart. He's like, I'm not gonna go over that metal floor. I'm just gonna pay for my groceries and get out of here.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What if I have no feet? Good question. That's what the ghost is for. Our ghost security guard. He harasses anybody that ignores the floor rule. Sorry, I can't use harass. He haunts anybody.
Ba 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 ba.
But it's only bones. Well, maybe that ghost will have a bone to pick with you. Did you just force math? How dare. Hey, Sue, you want to take over the cat?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to do one more day in here. And then we're going to take a short break, run an ad, switch over to Legend of Zeldor.
Yes.
Mega randomized edition. It's going to be very insane. I'll make it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do the math. Okay. Let's see. It's $27.50. Hey, I got it. No, I'm in jail. The customers, they need to be served.
You're in jail.
Don't laugh at me. You gotta do math at the register if I don't get out of here.
Oh, shit.
Does it make you do the math, or is that just a me thing?
I don't know.
Here, hold on. I'll let you do it for a little bit.
How long does it last?
It lasts.
Is it still there for you?
Yeah, it lasts the whole day for me.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, that was just normal.
Oh, okay. So it only affects me. That's funny. Okay.
Ha!
I'm the only one who suffers from math. Jail for 1,000 billion years.
1,000 years dungeon.
Unacceptable conditions.
Me. Ow.
I have to like hold myself back doing that voice so I don't like yell too loud in the microphone. Acceptable. 28. There we go.
Yeah, you need, like, really specific vocals to lemon grab.
Yeah. Like, it's easier to do his voice the louder you talk, which is, like, why it's so... Darktade, I sort of ignored death. That sounds fun.
Oh.
Unless you're at death's door, in which case they're probably pissed that you ignored death.
Wouldn't want to peek the mic, only mountains.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if we're running low on anything.
The sugar. Do we have sugar?
Probably not. Oh, so this person came here just for a box of fondue. Here, let's order anything that looks low. That looks low. That looks low. That's real low. That's low. That's low.
We have a games channel.
That's low.
So anything games related.
That's low. Man, people are buying the... Wait, why does it say $16? Wasn't the olive oil more expensive than that, or am I crazy? Maybe I'm crazy.
Oh.
I thought I made $18 olive oil. Hold on, let me double check. Maybe I made it $16.
Oh god, that's a lot of stuff.
$16.
That's
okay.
a lot of stuff. Okay, up they go.
Don't worry, we have a restocker to do slave labor. I mean, intern work. I mean, experience. I mean, we're not paying them. Wait, whew, almost missed that one there. Don't worry, they're here on a college internship, and we're paying them in experience.
Inexperience.
You know what's funny? If this was like a fantasy world and like you could level up, then paying an experience would actually be a good thing. It's like you're getting paid an experience. It's like, sweet, I can level up on this job. Yeah. $25.75. So we need 24.25. It would help a level 0 character for sure. Hey, the copper adventurers still do this stuff.
It's true.
Until you hit silver, you don't even start raiding goblin dens. 24. Oh yeah. Pardon me. I'm allergic to whatever this mushroom is that's growing out of my cash register. Customers, do not worry. I'm sure it's just a highly contagious fungi. It's definitely not rockpox. Don't worry about it.
I sure hope not. I don't want to be dealing with that again.
Yeah. It'll be fine. I'm having to do so much math. I can't wait to do Zeldor and not have to math anymore.
Yeah. Meh.
Oh, someone said they couldn't find a thing. They complained. They complained. 29 or 28, 25. Oh, 29, 25. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Cheese fondue, pepper, bread, flour. That made perfect sense.
Wow, people are actually buying the expensive olive oil.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people love my $16 olive oil. Also because I killed every other store that tried to sell olive oil.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't you mean like you like black? Nope. I walked in, I murdered all the staff so I can hold the only olive oil in the market.
Of course.
Yeah. Sure. I paid them way too much, but that's fine. $4. The homos are quite efficient at that. It's true. I told them I was a health inspector, and then I blew up the store and said it wasn't very healthy. It all makes sense, right? The store can't be healthy if it's blown up. Okay, $17.
Goblin bomb disfused. Lucky.
It's a good little warm-up game, too. Kind of get into the swing of things before we all die horribly and painfully in The Legend of Zelda.
It'll be fine.
I almost said Majora's Mask, but that's the one I'm doing for Archipelago, not the one we're doing today. We're doing Ocarina of Time today. 39.25, 11, nope. 10.75. Oh, olive oil, excellent, good purchase. I was just threw trash on the ground. How dare? There's trash everywhere. Oh my god, there's so much trash. Look, they're still throwing trash on the ground.
Oh my god!
It's everywhere. It's still going on the ground.
Rude!
Oh, there's trash under me even.
Rude! Oh my god, this stone makes it hard to see the trash.
Hard mode engaged. The supermarket is filthy. Oh, they're complaining about the trash.
Oh my god! Stop being pigs in our store!
Yep.
Nasty. Get some help.
31.50. Sorry, our cash register is broken. You have to use credit cards only. Thank you.
No?
Oh, there's trash under my feet, too. I don't know if you can...
Ah!
Thank you. Oh god, it's a
Also,
Charmander.
hello?
I saw a Charmander. It was so cursed. Just in time, too. It came in, like, right before we were planning to do our little switcheroo.
Yes. Yes, this was our warm-up.
Warm-up game.
A worm-up. Do the worm.
Today's almost over, too. We've almost made it. The warm-up. We should keep this store for when we do a community thing, and this will just kind of be our starting thing, and then we'll...
we'll keep the store for stuff.
Yeah.
This lovely... lovely store.
Yeah. Then we can start with this, and then people join in and be like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Boop. Cheese, that's a lot of cheese, cereal, and mustard, sir. I don't know what you're combining those for, but... Anyone want some cheesy, mustardy cereal? I love me some cheesy mustard cereal. Oh, no, 21. Tuna... Okay, that was like tuna tea. I don't know if I want tuna in my tea. That seems a little weird.
Sounds pretty gross.
No one's triggered any of our alarm systems yet. Kind of impressed.
Yeah.
I was expecting more robbers. Maybe because our store is actually doing good enough, they don't feel like robbing us.
You figured they'd be more.
Nah. 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 Wow, it's like right at the end of the day. Look at all the people coming in.
Yep, it's just how it goes.
Welcome to Crowd Control Store Christmas Halloween Edition 37.
Yep.
We got Christmas outside, Halloween inside. Our prices are outrageous, which is also terrifying. Our prices will scare you more than the Halloween decorations.
Well, apparently some people don't seem to mind.
Yeah. Oh, we've changed the store name again.
Oh, we did? Streamer Megastore.
Oh, okay. So it's no longer Crowd Control Store. We are now Streamer. We got bought out, rebranded. We sold out 2 times today, I think. I don't think we were a Crowd Control Store either the last time I checked. We were a Warp Store or something before,
we were a Warp Store.
Yeah, so we were a Crowd Control Store while I was out there earlier. Such a corporate lifestyle. Yeah, we've changed corporations like multiple times in the same week. 2750. Oh. You bought 1 cheese? Wow, okay. Came all the way to the store for a single cheese. How dare. 25. Is that it? Are we free? Oh. We're free. Oh, that's weird. Oh. Light. Dark. Light. Dark.
Oh. I'm 25% cheese.
Okay, let me stop the crowd control there. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Excellent.
Okay.
We are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We're gonna switch over to some Zeldor with more crowd control. So get ready for the murder time fun times. Save and quit. Boop. Boop. Saved and quit. Okay, everybody, we will be right back. Don't go too far, because more murder is coming. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
We had a thing crash, so I just have to do a lot of thing here. Ice chat's normal. Gossip stone hints need nothing. Basically we had the randomizer set up and we had randomized, but then it undid everything.
Yeah, which is really strange.
Starting inventory. Start with Kokiri sword.
Also, nothing showing.
Yeah, I haven't turned it on yet. Zelda's Lullaby. Okay. Let's do capture. Hopefully it won't crash again. That would be an unfortunate start there.
Yeah.
Oh man, we had some good sounds too. I'm gonna have to randomize all the audio again. Audio editor. Randomize everything. Okay.
Just how did it just like reset?
Cosmetic editors, rainbow everything. Okay, cool. I think that's everything. Oh, do you think it broke our do you think it broke our 2-player maybe? Let me see if that's there. Oh, I do have to turn on the infinite ammo and magic, and Barry doesn't really work. Timeless equipment is funny. Oh my gosh, it's chicken sounds for the horse already. That's not bad. Mini games? Oh, that's for the extra mini games. We don't care about that. Was it under enhancements? I can't remember now. Network, maybe? No. Oh, that was sail. I didn't connect crowd control. There we go. Crowd control is connected. My bad.
Oh.
Graphics. Controls. Can you... Oh, your controls are gone.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that again.
Can you move your stick for a second? Oh, it's that one. Okay. So you are the Xbox 360 controller. Okay. So A button, B button, Z, right up, right down, right left, right right, D-pad up, D-pad down, left, right, left stick up, down, left, right. Perfect. Should be all set up.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think everything's connected. I don't know if Ivan mode is on though, is the only thing. Because I don't remember where I turned on Ivan mode. Like that's the thing. I hope it's extra modes, Ivan mode. There we go. Okay. I'm like I have to make sure Ivan mode's on. Oh, enemy randomizer. Sure.
Yes.
Randomize enemy sizes. Sure. Okay. Okay, everything should be randomized.
Good.
Okay. Okay, is everybody ready for this?
I'm so ready.
Here we go. Everything is randomized. Oh, it's a Goron sound.
Yay! I live! It is I!
Oh, I didn't start with the Kokiri sword.
You're fairy shit disturber!
Yay, you're there. You're RGB.
I'm here!
You're RGB, you're changing colors.
I'm RGB! I'm RGB, motherfucker!
Oh, all this grass is... Oh, no. So we didn't start with a sword, so I have no way to actually do anything here, do I?
Oh god, the keys are coming.
Oh, I did start with a sword. Wait, can I can use the Master Sword as a child?
Oh,
wait, no,
there are fire keys.
Can I not? Oh,
It begins.
Oh, I forgot.
Also, everybody, we started a new, crowd control game, so you should all get, free coins.
Yeah.
Make sure to check that. Claim your coins.
This is weird already. Oh god, there's chickens.
The cuckoo's after you. The cuckoo.
The question is, did I get away from them, or are they gonna be waiting on the other side when I come out?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Ah!
I'm leaving the fairy behind while I run from cuckoo. I wonder if they're still on the other side of that thing. Oh, that grass is also randomized?
Oh!
We found the bomb bag. If I didn't check that grass in the corner. Wow, imagine if we didn't check that corner. Wait, that means you can have bombs. Hold on a second. And stick lit you on fire, right? There you go, now you have bombs.
Oh.
I think you can just hit down.
Wait, how does it work again? Hold the... Do I just... Wait, how do I...
Oh god!
Oh! I figured it out!
Oh, you found the bombs. Excellent. I saw the cuckoo. So the cuckoo storm, I don't know. Here, hold on. If they aren't here, I'm gonna let them come back, because they didn't get a swing at me. Oh god, it's an Arwing!
Air wings! Our wings!
I don't think I have a way to fight it. It's in the air somewhere around me. Oh, there it is!
Oh, there it is! Oh!
I don't have any way to fight it, do I? No. Okay. Yeah, I can't. I don't have any ranged weapons. Okay. Into the house I go. Chest number 1. Pick. Chest number 2. Bomb. Chest number 3. Heart. Chest number 4. Oh, that was a Skulltula token, I think. Oh god!
Wow!
Why is it so big? What? Why was it a massive ice?
Oh!
Okay, what are these voice lines? Okay, what are you selling me? A stick, a bomb, a stick, a fairy spirit, a bottle with a blue potion, only one for $5. Sure, I'll buy a bottle. Yay! You got a bottle of blue potion. It's actually a bottle. Yay! We did it. Where should we go? Oh, great fairy. What? Oh, there's grass over here.
Oh, hello.
Oh yeah, we got Cerveza Crystal.
It's back.
I forgot that was in there. Where do we go, fairy? This way? Oh god, I was like, there's supposed to be Deku's in here. Oh my god, he's opening his mouth.
Oh, open wide.
There was no
come in my
cutscene.
mouth.
He just opened his mouth. Oh god, is this randomized? Oh, it's the ice cavern. Yay!
Oh my god. Hey.
This is fine. Oh god, this is fine. Oh, I wonder if you can burn, oh, what the hell?
What the hell? Oh my god, they're Kaiju size!
Sick 'em fairy.
They're Kaiju!
Sick 'em fairy. You got bombs?
I got bombs! You're right! You're right! Ah! Ah!
Did you? I think you killed him.
Yes. Yes, I did. Doing my part. Yep.
Oh, there's no silver rupees here. We can't actually go anywhere. Oh, I'm tiny. Look at me go. Whee!
Oh my god, so tiny.
Whee! Ah, a wall. Whee! Just carry me, fairy. Carry me into the future. Why am I so small? Oh god, wow.
Oh my god. Whoa.
Oh.
It took care of that.
Yeah, okay. Works for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're a Minish.
Oh, you're Neptune. Oh, okay, I'm back to normal. Okay, so we can go into the Lost Woods, or we can head out into Hyrule Field.
Oh.
Oh wait, are pots randomized? There's some pots in this house. I think we randomized pots.
Gotta smash them. Smash them all.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, well, that Cerveza is gone.
Cerveza Crystal.
Nut.
And a nut.
Okay, what do you think? Lost Woods or Hyrule Field?
Like
we can go to either place. I don't think, because it's a randomizer.
I don't know if we want to
really
do Lost Woods.
Okay, fair enough. There might be a lot of grass in Lost Woods, though.
There might be a lot of grass. That is true.
Fairy Fountain Field. I mean Hyrule Field. Oh, all the grass out here will be stuff, too. Oh, look at all that grass.
Look at all this grass.
Oh, what the heck?
He didn't want you taking his Cerveza Crystal.
Well, that was grass. We just gotta explore the Hyrule Field with the grass now. You can reach the back of Impa's house by jumping from the unfinished house with a cuckoo. Oh, good to know. Thank you for that random hint. I appreciate it. Why does Link just sound like he's dying all the time? What the heck? What's happening over there? Oh god, I'm slow!
Oh boy. Oh yeah, you're very slow. There's a jellyfish. Why isn't there a jellyfish?
Good question. Bottle!
You seem... Ooh!
A fairy in a bottle, yeah. I keep hearing
just
stuff.
a little out of place, Mr. Jelly.
Oh, there's more grass.
Screw everything else. The grass.
The grass. It's so tempting. It could be anything, even grass. Bigger wallet.
Oh my god.
How are we finding all this good loot?
Ah.
Oh, another good item. Oh, I got the fire medallion.
Oh, what?
I told you the grass was worth it.
Oh my god.
You found the Epona song. Oh my god.
The Epona song.
You want to blow up this boulder?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh.
Weird. Is it non-blow-upable? It might be a hammer boulder. Oh, no, never mind. Oh god. What the heck?
Ah! What? Yoda?
Hi, Yoda.
What?
They say that fire temple holds sword skill it does.
Yoda, why are you here?
Oh, slingshot. We have a ranged option.
Oh my gosh. Very good.
This game is already so cursed and we haven't done anything yet.
Ship of Herkidian is great.
Okay, I'm gonna put that on the right, just so we have a thing. Oh, can I not knock it down? Are you able to...
I can fire.
Oh yeah, that doesn't seem to work. How about... Well, you probably can't bomb it either, because that'll...
I thought it'd be fire.
Yeah, I guess I need arrows to shoot it down. So there could be stuff in those. That's fine. Yoda gave us advice. Oh god. Oh god, it's splitting the ball.
Oh, and it keeps small.
Oh, and there's a wolf.
Oh!
Oh my god. Ah! Oh my god. Oh, it's because all the skull kids that appear at nighttime. They've all been randomized. He's coming for my booty. Just dropping the balls behind us. That's a good idea. Oh, you got him. Oh, giant skeleton.
Oh!
I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little guy. Oh, okay.
I'm just dropping bombs.
I'm just a little guy that sounds like an old man. Leave me be.
You probably have a condition.
Oh, we made it. Now we're perfectly safe, and there's more grass. Yay!
Grass!
Woo! My favorite.
You've been cutting grass for days. Yeah.
I missed the thing, but we're already at max money, so... Or max cerveza.
Max cerveza crystal.
A lot of Deku nuts and stuff. Is there grass down here too? Oh my gosh, there is! Look at all this grass!
Oh god!
Oh, ooh, 5 different
Shabana,
subs.
thank you! My goodness! Holy crap, thank you so much for gifting to Geo, the Mitchy Itchy,
some spinach.
Purple Fish Bones, Nan Bread Loaf, and Chicken Crusade!
Oh, it was a song of Ice Trap.
Oh, did anything a trigger for that?
Yeah, it did. It was supposed to spawn a bunch of
Look
light
at the
lights.
tiny light!
They're
little tiny
Oh,
light.
Oh, it's eating me. Oh.
A little tiny light.
It ate my shield. Yeah, gifted subs were likes, and then regular subs are Dark Links.
Now we can
Yeah, I got my shield back.
We gotta spin. We gotta spin.
Yep. I gotta spin the thing.
Hopefully we'll get something different.
Okay, spin wheel. Let's see. I'll spin until we get one for each of us, because it was like a gifted sub thing.
That sounds good.
Oh, a 60-second art. Okay.
Yo, okay. Give me prompt. Give me prompt.
Let me spin for something for me to do in the same time.
Okay, I gotta...
Okay, land on your squats, but we'll count as my push-ups, so that way we got the...
Alright.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so
excellent.
I need a prompt.
I need to make you appear. Oh, why is it under the game? Oh, hold on a second, that's not right. Oh, I have to move it up. There we go. It shows the picture you were working on before. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna do some push-ups. And
Loaf? I think.
Okay, yeah.
Ciabatta gifted. So.
Wait, are we combining those two? A drunken sexy loaf? Loaf in the sexy loaf?
I don't know how that.
A sexy slice of bread, I guess, or sexy. That's a weird prompt, but it does sound funny.
Listen, I know what I must do.
Okay. I will be right here, but I won't be able to hear anybody for a second because I gotta do the push-ups.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a quick save. Just in case.
I gotta be timed. Hold up. I need a timer.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Timer. Let me start the clock. 60 seconds.
Oh.
Oh my god, okay, oh, it's just...
Ooh.
Okay,
Pay me one of your French breads.
Just getting the thing started, okay.
Oh, that's fair.
Bread luck again. Do like fancy bread, you know?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yeah, I like that.
We want fancy bread.
Oh. We couldn't decide, by the way, if we wanted to do,
Oh, what the? That seemed too quick. That was is that 60 seconds?
Oh, maybe it was. Is that too quick?
I think that's too quick. I barely got started.
That's fine. You want to make it like 120? This is our first one, so, you know.
I was just like, wait, am I done? Because I barely caught anything. Damn it. And I have to be super scribbly then.
Oh, that's well, that's why. Like, if 60 seconds is too short, make it like 120 seconds or something. It's not that big of a deal. As long as it's still short, like a short enough thing. I don't think anyone would complain. Only lows? Oh, that was... That's funny. Or at least I don't think anyone will complain if as long as
that was
it's
pretty close. Yeah. Pretty close, but I'm wondering if you should be like up it slightly.
Yeah, that's fine.
I guess it's supposed to be scuffed art. It's supposed to be scuffed.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a little sketch.
It's a ciabatta loaf.
Excellent. That's all I needed on the little goat tail. Excellent.
There we
excellent.
go.
I like how you took ciabatta saying "make me like one of the French breads" very literally. Because they are now a French bread.
Yes. We have French bread. There we go.
Yes, Suit actually, when she was doing, like,
If that's a sketch, it's a sketch for me. To me, it's a sketch.
Yeah, so, like, when she was going to college, like, that was one of the skills that you said you probably got out of it was how, like, fast you got at drawing.
Speed drawing was a thing.
Yeah.
It was there was a lot of speed drawing, life drawing classes, as well as figure drawing and all of that.
Yeah.
Kind of like just gets you used to drawing quickly. It was also like I had like a cartoon comic sort of class too, where they would like have us like get like character designs down and like expressions really quickly. So yeah, I would say it's a skill for sure. I appreciate someone's like, oh man, I'm like, this is like so quick. I was like, I didn't. I guess I gotta get quicker. Like, that's all I.
So something we didn't really chat about whether or not we were gonna do it, but I did 25 push-ups because it was 5 gifted subs instead of 5 push-ups.
Oh yeah. If it lands on squats,
yeah.
I will do the same thing. If it ends up being multiple subs.
Yeah, like most of the other stuff we can't really multiply because it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but like the push-ups and squats we can multiply. You could do the 10 minutes, 1 minute, 10-second challenge. Huh. That sounds interesting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I should go back to the game now. Yeah, that's the bread. There's the bread right there.
It's a ciabatta bread.
Ciabatta bread. One last look before we switch back. There we go. Here, I want a good look-see. Yeah. And I didn't go anywhere. I waited here in-game. Might be an item down here. I guess we might as well look.
Also, y'all should check out the bread man himself. If you're lucky, you might catch a baking stream one of these times.
Not making that. Okay, where else can we go now that we've degrassed the area?
But that was fun. That was the first art.
Yeah, the first art one we got.
Got to turn around and start twerking. And ultimately, I did not come to conclusion. Do I have an iron head? I don't know what that is.
You know what's gonna be funny? If we're out in the field at nighttime, like stuck in front of the castle, we are going to have to like fight hordes all night.
I called baking, and look what came up.
Yep.
Amazing.
Oh, there's a hole over there.
Oh, to check the hole.
Let's enter the random hole. Yoda! What advice do you have? They say that child shopkeeper sells recovery heart. Okay.
Well, a couple things, I guess, failed. Oh, hello again, Yoda. Why are you in every hole?
A couple things aren't working? Oh, let me double check then.
There was no baking, but there was cake. Oh, yes!
Add a heart container. Knock back, like. Oh, okay. It looks like it refunded them, but which one? It looks like I have more heart containers. Shield. No? Let me try. Here, give it another shot. Let's see if it does a thing. Uh-oh, what do I hear? Oh yeah, it did refund whatever one you try. Oh, is it because I have the shields, but it's just not I didn't have any equipped because the like sucked it. That might be why. It's probably if you're probably trying to give me a shield, it's probably. Oh, that's what I was hearing. Is that a mini boss?
Oh!
Why are you just out here?
Let me poop on you!
Uh-oh. It's nighttime. We're in trouble.
Oh boy!
Do I hear an iron knuckle coming for us? Oh my god. That was a floor tile. Okay. Oh god!
Oh!
Oh! I don't like the Hyrule field at nighttime with the randomizer.
Oh my.
Seems a little dangerous. Okay, I know there's one more grotto we can do over this way. Like with grass and stuff. Oh, what the heck? Sky spiders. Don't you hate sky spiders?
Goddamn sky spiders!
Oh!
Oh! Oh!
Oh my god, they're so big! Oh god, Ra! They're so big!
Oh! I'm trying to poop as many bombs as I can!
Why is there so many enemies?
Ah!
Ah, you can't cross the water! Oh, they can't cross the water! Oh no! Oh.
Well, what? Whoa.
Randomized fairies. Okay.
You're teeny. You're minish.
Yeah, I'm so small.
You're a minish, Link.
Okay. Oh. I got a... Wait, was that a... Wow, we got 3 bottles? What are the chances?
That's great.
I'm so tiny.
Very tiny.
I untinied.
Oh.
Let's go to the castle town, I guess. We can go see Zelda.
Back to regular size Link.
Went from like 6 hearts to 15. Honestly, that's a lot of hearts.
Yeah.
Will they last though? That's the question.
Ba, 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 ba.
Oh yeah. Randomize all the cosmetics. Is my sword a different color? My sword's a brown.
Oh. Oh god.
Oh god.
Oh god.
That's Darth
Why
Vader!
is there Darth Vader?
Oh shit, Darth Vader time!
Why is Darth Vader here? What the fuck? Oh my god! Excuse me!
The Dark Lord of the Sith!
Okay, they added new stuff to this, didn't they?
That was
Something
fine.
feels different.
That was fine, don't worry about it.
Something feels different about this.
No, that's not. Darth Vader's always been in Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm probably just not remembering correctly. You played a lot more Zelda than me, so...
Yeah, it was the big guest star in Ocarina of Time. Link, I am your father. Oh, I can't attack things. You want to attack things? Like those jars up there? Oh god.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got excited. Oh. Wait.
Oh god. Nice.
Okay, see, that works.
Yeah, you got him. Oh. Wow, the gold Skulltula was a heart. We got so much money. Oh, we should check the shops in town. They might have some stuff.
Yeah.
Why is it Zora's Domain here? Don't save the pots. Give pot makers jobs. Yeah, exactly. Oh, these crates have stuff in them? Oh, you can drop bombs in the market? Oh my god, I'm not allowed to do stuff in the market. Menace to society. Oh, it's more shoe. Oh, blue fire. That could... Oh my god, we have to buy the blue fire from Morshu in town. That's gonna be a pain in the butt.
Whoa. Big link.
Nothing here either. Okay. So I can't... Oh, wait, I can't cook right. They let me use my weapons in town! Yay!
Yay!
Okay. I'm a big kid now. What do you sell, sir? Oh,
they're
sell
very
you
eager.
something. Okay, okay, let's go to here first, I guess. Oh my god, look at all the Yodas. Wait, sorry, Yoda, I didn't read what he said. They say cutting grass in a grotto gives you 5 Deku nuts. Wow.
So yada Yodas.
I don't... Why would I want a Deku? Okay, all those were useless. Oh. Oh god, it's immune. Oh, you can't burn it to death, though. Why is there just undead people in death? Well, that Yoda over there is kind of creepy. This is... Welcome to completely normal Ocarina time. As
so
you remember
normal.
it. Yeah. Okay. I guess we can go around as an adult. We haven't done all the stuff as Child Link yet, though. Well,
Yes, that's true.
Let's do the stuff as Child Link first. That sword is cursed, by the way. Like, that is... that is weird.
A little cursed. Just a little bit.
Backflipping champion!
Hey, Link, you want a challenge?
Oh, God. But you have infinite bombs. Yeah, it's true. Oh, wait, this grass hasn't been checked. Oh, it was a bomb. Oh, if I don't pick up the stuff, does it stay, like, unchecked? Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh.
Okay, let's go see Zelda. There should be a thing in this tree.
Skulltula!
Wow, beer. Cerveza Crystal! Oh, wait. Hold on. Do you have anything to say? Are you going to the castle? Fairy boy? Would you mind finding my dad? He must have fallen asleep somewhere around the castle. What a thing for an adult to do. Tee-hee. Tee-hee. Oh, yeah. If you look for him, I'll give you this. I've been incubated. It's not going to be an egg, is it? Oh, she did give me an egg. Okay.
It's a weird egg.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Oh.
Oh, hey, Yoda.
Hi, Yoda.
Again.
They say the bottom of the well is the way. Oh, bottom of the well has all the shit in it, apparently. I guess we're going to the bottom of the well. Random vanilla check, yeah. We can go to this fairy fountain if we want. You want to blow up that boulder?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Why didn't the scream happen? Oh wait, I need to leave that there for you. Da, da, da. Okay. Wait, what? That's not the right song. Wait a second. Oh, it was... Okay, the fairy gave us a heart. Let me give you your sticks back. Wait, do Bombachus try...
I don't know if they were as...
Oh, they explode instantly. Yeah, that's what we had them for.
Like, it could be good, but I think I'm gonna hurt you. I don't know.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I now have like a bajillion hearts. You can blow up those guards over there. I don't know what'll happen if you do that. Oh god, they're immune to explosions.
Ah! They didn't even flinch.
Oh, Yoda!
Hey, Yoda!
I love that Darth Vader's in here, too. How the hell did that happen? Wait, they say the Force Temple's what now? Oh, Force Temple's also Way of the Hero? Oh my god, okay.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I need a bomb here.
Oh! Good job.
Just ignore that. Or if I need Song of Storms. Oh, hello, Vorpal Scales. How's it going? Welcome.
It's a Vorpal! It's a horde of kobolds! Hello! Hello,
oh, God.
friends!
It's a raid of cuckoos!
Oh god, it is a raid of cuckoos! Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh. How was the stream? Welcome in, everybody! We are playing some perfectly normal Zelda, as we all remember from childhood.
The tiny ones!
Oh my god!
I'm gonna skim me down the hole!
You're being hunted! It was a vibe day, so it was a lot of fun. That's good!
Whoa!
Oh shit! Oh.
Okay, I think we need to blow up these walls. If you want to blow up some wall.
Oh yeah. So we are playing with crowd control. Feel free to claim your coins. Because you might want to claim those free coins and cause a bit of trouble.
There's this one here too. Ooh, pot. Ooh, pot.
Also Yoda's here.
What does this Yoda have to say? They say that a green rupee is in the graveyard. Wow, thanks. $1 in the graveyard. I'm so happy you told us that.
Hey, Gamer Shark!
Hey, how's it going? Okay, everything here was pointless. Are you able to grab those, by the way? Just for, like, testing purposes?
Let me... Yeah!
Oh, okay, cool. That's good to know. We might
and
need
yes,
that in the future.
I am the troublesome fairy, blowing everything up, and it's great.
We need to get this dude out of the way. Oh, look how strong I am.
Oh, what? Damn, it's nothing. I have cooked an entire loin of pork. I now have my food figured out for the next week. Oh, yo.
Do you hear the snoring this man's making? You might end up with extra key for the water temple or the fire temple. It's for your safety. Giant Link! Ugh. I'm big, but I am very slow.
Yes, you have become slow. Oh, but yes.
A chicken hatched from your egg, yay!
I should probably mention for some newcomers. We are doing a spin wheel for any subs or coin purchases for crowd control.
Yeah.
Gift subs are, if you gift 5 subs, it is 35% off with a discount.
Yep.
On top of the Subtember deal going on for regular subs.
And if you're subbed, you get more crowd control coins, and more crowd control coins means more chaos.
Yes, so every time we spin the wheel, I just did a 60-second scuff dart, and we could do 25 push-ups.
Yep. It was great. I've also already had a shot of hot sauce and salsa.
Yeah. Yeah, but I had to play blindfolded. That's a fun one. I hope I get that again. But also the scuff dart is pretty fun too. I drew a ciabatta loaf.
Yay, Zelda! One more thing. Take this letter. I'm sure it will be helpful to you. Oh, it's actually a letter.
Whoa!
Yeah, I know how to select a letter. Thank you, game. Oh gosh, she flashbanged me. Oh, she had the Sun Song. She flashbanged us with the Sun Song. Awesome. Do you think we can get to the bottom of the well already as a kid? Because if we can, we should check it out.
Oh, absolutely. We have to.
I think there's a hole by this tree, too, if you want to, like, bomb around it.
Say no more.
Oh, there's a gold skull Tula in the corner up there. Oh, and a tiny freezer!
So teeny.
It's not dying! It's unkillable! I think it's actually unkillable. Oh, no, you got it. Wow, okay.
Yay!
So we need to get that thing.
I need fire.
Nah, oh yes you do. You're right. There you go, fire.
You can't, like...
Oh, hold on.
I don't know how to...
There you are. Nope. Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah! Hey, you got beer. You got a beer for killing that sweater.
Yay! I must go and cook, but I shall be lurking. Well, thank you so much for bringing your community in the chaos.
Yeah.
Everyone should definitely check out Borple Scales. Wonderful kobold.
Why does transitioning do the evil heart sound?
Also, if you love chaos, Borple is full of it.
Oh, important item. The Big Goron sword claim check. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We have the Big Goron sword already. This is a run. There should be a hole around here somewhere too. Like if we bomb around this tree.
Oh, okay. Just gonna bomb around the... Well...
I'm not sure where it is though.
Just gonna bomb around this old man.
Might be in the middle over here too. Oh, you found it!
Hey, he also works every time. That's a little like... Oh! It's so teeny.
Yay, it's a chest. What will it be? Oh. Yay! Okay. Chicken!
It's a chicken!
I want to grab the chicken. Okay, my chicken. Cerveza chicken!
Ba, 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 ba. Did you lose all your chickens?
She's allergic to chickens, but she's a chicken wrangler. Thank you for finding my cuckoos. I have allergies, so I get goosebumps. Okay. For helping me, I'll give you this.
Why did you choose this career?
She gave me beer. She just gave a minor beer.
Huh?
I don't think you're allowed to do that. No, I don't want to talk to you. Get out of here, sir. There's shops in town and stuff. Is the well open? It looks like the well might be open. No, it's got water in it.
No, there's water.
Maybe I had to come here as an adult? Or probably the Song of Storms? I think the Song of Storms might drain the well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's pots. There's also a skull. Tula is not there. Okay, it's only there at nighttime. Well, let's check the shop. Oh, okay, never mind. That's not a shop yet. Let's check this shop. not a shop
okay
yet.
there.
Damn it, all the shops aren't shops yet.
But okay.
Here, Mr. Guard. Oh, the letter doesn't work because the gate's already open. Interesting.
Oh.
Okay. This was not what I expected to happen, so let's take you. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen either. We're going for a bit of a trip. Wait, did that chicken escape already? I feel like we captured that one. Okay, here we go. Woo! Excellent. In the hole.
And Yoda.
I think he's replacing all the gossip stones. Ganon Castle is the way of the hero. Okay. So Ganon's castle is also important. Wait, can you blow up those beehives now?
Oh, let me see.
Aha!
Yes!
So we can check, so there's one up there too. Hey! There was something valuable in one of them.
Haha!
Now we have a way to check beehives. Let's just see if this shop has anything. Granny's is closed. Okay. I guess Granny's is closed.
Aw, damn.
Granny's is closed! Oh no! Okay, let's try going in the windmill and seeing if the Song of Storms does the well drainage. I don't know if it will, but... It's the wrong song again. What's going on? It's going too crazy. Ah!
Ah!
Yep, it drained to the well. Let's see if the entrance is there, though. It is!
Oh my god!
Oh.
Huh.
Okay. Right, I forgot dungeons are randomized. Oh god!
Oh,
Chainsaw from the air! Ah, what's happening?
I can't!
I'm being shoved!
Ah! Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, okay. It died. Oh my god, that was, Oh, hi.
Oh, that's a friend.
I'm sure he's fine down there. Oh my gosh, the grass in the dungeon is all randomized too. Oh no. Oh god. Was that Floor Master? Oh! Okay, well, that Floor Master's gonna be at large. That's fine.
It's fine!
What the hell? That worked! I think there was supposed to be a Deku in that room. The funny thing is, if you don't have the slingshot, you can't get out of this room, and it's just a soft lock.
Oh.
But I knew we had the slingshot, so I was like, okay, we're fine. Oh, this is Lost Forest Woods music. It's kind of appropriate for this dungeon.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Ah!
Oh god!
Ha!
Oh god! No!
Are those natural?
Yeah, that's a natural arrow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you got it. The natural arrow wings. In their natural habitat, the Deku tree.
Yeah.
Egg. Okay. Oh, you know what? That's fine. That thing was weird, I didn't like it.
Just let it go. Ah!
It's fine. Oh god.
Oh god!
Oh god. Ah, it's a spider! Hey, next swing! My swords are too tiny for the big enemies. I actually have trouble hitting them. Oh, if I give you fire, you can light that torch, right?
Yay, fire!
Oh, that was bomb.
Oh, that wasn't fire!
My kidneys. Cerveza Cristal. Oh, that one actually had a Skulltula token in it. Man, we might actually beat a temple. What do you think the... Oh, imagine the boss is something we just can't fight at all. Oh god. What?
Ah!
That was weird. So there's a spider up there. Oh, it's got a token in it.
Oh, it does.
Nice. I think I have to hit a switch to burn that one that you were trying to burn there. There's also another spider. Wow, nuts. This is so much easier with a fairy companion.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to try burning that web over there? Otherwise I need to grab a stick. Okay, I need a stick for that one.
Probably need a stick.
Yeah, so some of them are like progressive things, so I don't think it lets the fairy burn them. But... Yay! Here we go.
Oh.
Ow! I kicked my ass. Unfortunately, I have... Oh god, there's more!
Oh god!
I like that you killed like 3 of them, and I killed 1. Oh. Yay! I see. Okay, hold on. I think I know what I have to do.
You didn't need like iron boots or anything.
No, you wouldn't have them normally in this area.
No death. No death.
It's a bubble! My arch nemesis! The dirty bubble! Oh, you popped it. You know, it's not that threatening when you just pop the bubble. You have a cat. Is it you being catted?
I'm being catted.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Oh god! Ah, he's giant! He's too big. He can't fight us. He literally couldn't fight back.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, you can just light these. Wow, easy puzzle. 10 out of 10.
So easy. Oh my god.
Skeleton man, can you get down here? Hey, there we go. Uh-oh. Are you being kiddied?
Yeah.
Oh god! What the hell? Okay, you did murder me, but I will accept because you also murdered the thing. This wall? Okay. Yay! Where does this go? Ah. Oh, a bow! Yay, the fairy bow! Oh, we are set now. I think I can use it as a child, too.
Oh my god.
Oh, that'll give you the bow and arrow, too, actually, I think.
Oh!
So now you can shoot arrows. The Deku Baba. Thanks, game. That's what I always wanted to know. Oh! Oh, God!
Ah!
Oh, God! He doesn't know where to go. He's in a tiny hallway.
Oh my god!
He's kicking my ass. Oh, God, that's an iron knuckle! Oh, my Lord!
Oh, boy!
Oh, God! Ah! This is hell! Ah!
At least get rid of the Gyptos.
Ah!
Run!
I didn't like that area at all.
Run, Link!
I'm just gonna leave. They can't follow me through here. Oh! Get the ankles!
Oh my god. Ah.
Wait, why am I using... I should be using the Master Sword. Yeah, that's much more effective. I don't know if you need to burn that guy, or if you can... Oh, wow, that does kill him. Poor Iceman. Just melted to death. Well, I tried. just making rupee noises.
Do you think I got it?
Oh, no, you didn't.
No, I got it, Scotland!
Ah!
Or is fire better?
Oh god, this is bad. Yeah, I think you have to hit it on the bottom, that's the problem.
Oh my god, I'm trying. I'm just like...
Oh, that's fair.
Can't really tell.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Okay, I need to at least push this block down before we die. That's a weird sound effect for low health.
Yeah, you are low. Uh-oh.
It's fine. I'll just die horribly and painfully. I think we just need to light the... Can you light my stick on fire? Oh, no. I think I have to hop down to get fire. Damn. I don't wanna. My health is laughing at me. Hearts!
Get the hearts! Swim into the smog!
Can we even kill that? Oh, okay. Wow, our first boss. That's gonna grab this heart. Okay, 3 hearts and a dream. Let's do it.
Yeah!
Hello, welcome, Banana.
Hello!
Oh, it's the only one we can't do without a boomerang.
Oh.
Oh, there's spots in here, though. Maybe the boomerang's in here.
That would be great.
Although, I guess you could try blowing it up. I'll let you try that in a sec. I think you can only hurt it with a boomerang, though.
So what do if we can't do this?
We save and quit for the title.
I'm trying to think to last time if he weren't sure.
I would just try blowing them up. If that doesn't work, I don't know what will. Like, I think you actually have to disconnect the chemicals from the ceiling with the boomerang.
Well, hold on.
Yeah. That's alright, I'll do save and back to the main menu somehow. I guess we could let it kill me.
Yeah. And I guess the weed killer.
Or we could get teleported out here, it's another option.
Well, that's true.
This sounds so painful. What a way to go.
Slow death.
Oh no, why do we have a fairy?
Oh!
Oh god.
That's a waste of a fairy. No. No. That's a waste.
Oh, we got teleported out. Oh. Wait.
That's good.
That gave us the fire tunic.
Hey, it's Yoda.
Hey, Yoda. The Ocarina of Time teaches you a blue rupee. Oh, okay. We don't have a way to get up there, do we? No. Okay, but you got us out of there, and we haven't explored the Lost Woods yet, so let's go do an explore. Get his ankles. Why are they always so big? I've not seen a small Stelphos yet. Oh god. You know what? He's probably fine.
No, you don't need to tell me twice. I blow him up all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a living. Oh yeah, okay. We got all the shizniz. Now let's get the business. It's a living? Yeah, it's a living. Oh god. Oh boy, oh boy.
Ah.
Yoda, what words of wisdom do you have in this hellfire we're in? Zora's River is the way. Oh, that's also the way of the hero? Okay. Well, we can do that too. Other Yoda of wisdom.
Oh, hey, Yoda again?
They say the ball in the well's way. We already knew that one. Oh god, no!
Oh my god!
Almost didn't make it. Hold on, I'm gonna use the cheat method. Wait, it works on Majora's Mask, but it doesn't work on this. Oh. I was like, normally you could perma-stun them. Why'd it start raining? Oh, the chat made it rain. It's like, what? Ooh, bomb.
Bomb?
Bomb.
Bomb? Oh, your friend.
I will sell you 30 Deku seeds for 40 bucks. No. Oh god, it's Ganondorf. Is the Ganondorf. I will sell you a recovery heart for 40 bucks? No. What the heck? That price was awful.
Damn, Deku.
I thought I was cheap.
Your paper.
I am Paper Link. The paperiest of links. Oh. Oh, there was a rupee under that. This way? Oh, grass. Nice. We can go this way.
Link got the Spyro cheat codes going on. Yeah, my entire Spyro 2 archipelago, I've been flat the whole time, and it's awesome.
Wow, he wants to sell me a single nut for 20 bucks. One Deku stick for $15.
Wow!
They're so cheap! How are they so cheap? Okay, I don't know what to do with this. Oh no, get out of here. Okay, there's more areas in the Lost Woods to check still. We can go this way. And there should be stuff under the water. Actually, hold on, I might have to stand on the water because I can't swim that deep. Nothing. Okay, we're good. That was where one of my checks was when we did that mega Ocarina of Time rando. It was under the water there. Oh, time to blow up a rock. Yeah. Yoda of wisdom.
This is Yoda.
Oh, I just got the Tycoon wallet.
Oh,
look at all the money.
All the money's rolling in.
I'll have to check those beehives, yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Another one?
For you? Yeah. Look at all the money!
Yeah, teamwork. It's the dream work.
Is it gonna be 999? Yeah. Oh. Oh my gosh, the sun medallion! It was just in the grass.
Oh wow, who left that there?
This is why Ganondorf can't find any of this shit. It's just in the grass.
Yep.
Yay!
Whoa.
So we can go to Zora River, or we can go to, Floopy Land, which is also known as Goron Land.
Ooh, Floopy Land.
Okay, let's go to Floopy Land. Floopy Land! If I can remember how to get to Floopy Land, I think it's this way. And then I think it was left. Yep, there it is, Floopy Land! Oh,
okay.
I don't think there's a way not to get blown up by that.
Yeah.
We don't know Saria's song, do we? Because we need that for here. Storm,
we have
Sun
3
Song.
medallions.
Yeah, like, we could almost go to Ganondorf.
Oh my god.
Oh, the Bolero of Fire!
Oh!
That was kind of appropriate to be in this area.
Yeah.
Oh, bombs. Yeah, excellent. What's over here? Is this the bomb room? It is! That was my fault. Ooh.
Oh,
that looks like a dead end.
Maybe
Maybe this way? Okay. I think we gotta go this way. Aha!
Oh, it's Yoda!
Yoda's always just where we need him.
Just always in the right place.
The Serenade of Water is in Kokiri Forest. Wait, really? We were just there. Oh no, wait, Kokiri Forest isn't the Lost Woods, it's actually Kokiri Forest. What the heck? Where was the Serenade of Water then? We missed it somewhere. Okay, let's go down the mountain, because we haven't gone to the Skulltula house yet. And I think we have a lot of Skulltulas.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, we can blow this up.
Wah!
Nut. What'd you get? Nut. Oh, I think there's a cow hole up here, too. Under one of these boulders. Yay, cow hole.
Yeah!
Cow hole.
Actual cow!
Yeah, it's the cow of Death Mountain. I don't know why it's here either.
Wait, we're not gonna talk to him or anything?
Oh, he just says move. We can't actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I could.
Are the Gorons just like hiding a cow?
Well, we do have a Pona song. I could play that. We have an empty bottle. Come on. Moo, that song makes me feel good. I can produce milk. Here we go.
Oh, you got milk!
I did see a beehive. Yes, there's a beehive out there.
Okay.
Had a heart. Okay. I just milked a cow in a Death Mountain hole.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
Oh, we can check Dodongo's Cavern on the way, too. Wow, there's so many things on the mountain. How did we not come up here? Like that boulder there, we can just blow it up.
Haha, nerds. GM, hello!
Hello, hello, how's it going?
How you doing?
Aha, I stole your hole blowing up. This is the Shadow Temple.
Oh.
That's unfortunate.
That's totally fine.
Whoa! That's a spot. We have a spider problem.
Damn!
That's a big. Oh, hello, sir.
Oh my God! Why is this Keiju mountain all of a sudden?
Ah, he's too big. Screw you, bitch. You can't catch me. I'm a little man.
Oh my God!
Yeah, little man. Turns out kaijus cannot beat the little man. No offense, GM. The secret weakness is the, like, you know how, like, Puss in Boots put that sword under the giant's fingernail? It's basically that.
Ah.
Oops, sorry. Meant to look at the thing. Yeah. Oh, harpies, nice.
Hee.
This is a very cursed game we're playing right now. It's
so
Ocarina
good.
of Time, but it's very cursed. I'm gonna take all the offense. Now I have to invade. Oh no!
You should all definitely check out GM the Game Monster if you love tabletop RPGs and fun stuff, Warhammer, all that good stuff. Also, I believe they're joining Tweak in the Groton.
Oh yeah.
This upcoming Wednesday.
Our next Groton victim. I mean guest. Next Groton guest.
But I have never
Yeah!
Oh, we saved someone already. The curse has been broken. Thank you. Here's a reward. Wow. Thanks. Curse has been broken. Thank you. Here's a reward. A stick. Wow, thanks. Wait, what did you say you'd give me? A piece of heart. Okay, that's at least better than a stick. A blue rupee, that's garbage.
Man, this has gotta be like the worst curse.
10, that spider's gonna nut.
Like, oh jeez.
Since you destroyed 25 spiders of the curse, okay, we're counting on you. Okay, I don't get to know what he gives us, but... yeah, all the spider stuff is pretty worthless, honestly. So, you know what? Because they aren't paying me enough, I'm gonna leave them cursed forever. Oh! Ice arrows? Oh my god.
Oh!
It's only granted to people who complete the Gerudo trials. Yes, I have definitely done that, and did not just find it in a pot. Okay, time for adult time, I guess. That sounds weird, but you know what I meant.
Yeah, sure.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, let's try the adult. Oh wait, no, we had to check Zora's River, right? Although we can do that as an adult. I don't think that changes.
True.
Because we've done everything a child can do. Oh wait, except for Long Arm Ranch, but... I mean... We could... Now, I wanna do some adult Link stuff. We've done enough child stuff, let's do some adult Link stuff.
Let's do some adulting.
We gotta figure out where the actual bottom of the well is as well, because apparently it's not the bottom of the well.
Yeah. Oh, man.
What was the Deku Tree? Oh, he was the Ice Cavern, right? Think?
Yeah, it was in the Ice Cavern.
Oh, let's hope the Ice Cavern isn't something brutal, because that's always a pain to get to.
And we need to find the boomerang.
Yeah, the boomerang to beat, the bottom of the well. As weird as that is.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we're Adult Link, there's lots we can do. Let's check the Zora River first, but we can teleport into the volcano, because we got... What the? Oh.
What?
Wow, my voice got different when I got older.
Oh, he did!
Wow, Link, your voice got higher as you got older.
Yeah, and he had reverse puberty.
Opposite puberty, yeah.
Well, have fun with Archipelago. Hopefully you get some good stuff.
Yeah.
I am waiting until at least Thursday. If I don't...
Oh, wait, Zora River. This way.
If I don't get what I need, I'm gonna ask for my check. Cause I'm a bit hard stuck at the moment.
Okay, so apparently Zora's River is Way of the Hero, so we might find something really good over here.
Yeah. But at least good timing. A couple new games came out at the same time, so like I don't mind.
Okay, nothing there. That's fine, that's fine. If you bomb between those rocks, I don't know if it's a bomb or if it's a Song of Storms. Okay, so it's a Song of Storms hole. Oh. I fucked up the Song of Storms, everybody. I ruined it.
Oh my god!
There's a tiny one in the corner. A green potion for 40 bucks. At least that's a reasonable trade.
food?
That one's hiding in the corner. Oh wait, I gave you bombs instead of I gotta switch those. Alright, you win. A red potion for... See, like, I don't need them, but you've made a compelling argument at least. Like, a potion's worth something. The other guy was like 40 bucks for a stick.
Yeah, for a stick. It's like, sir?
That was a plant underwater.
Plants need water.
Well,
it's fine.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's happy down there.
Oh, I didn't make it. Okay, I wonder if we should check that. Here, I'll go back. Through the water of hell.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay. I'll have to let you get the grass, because I can't get that far over. Ooh.
Yeah, I can get it.
There it is. Oh, it was just a beer. Haha, you can't even pick up the beer.
Oh, wait, there's a heart. Oh, we're full.
Yeah, that's a regular heart. See that Deku shrub is dying in the water.
I don't know if he belonged there.
Yeah. Okay, we'll climb up the mountain and then I'll take us to the secret hole. Actually, we can go to the secret hole first. It's right there.
Secret hole.
I don't even think you can get here as a child because you have to walk in the water. Oh, there's a Yoda up here too. We can learn some Yoda words of wisdom. I still can't believe Darth Vader showed up. He hasn't showed up again, but like... Okay. Hold on, let me... They say the Shadow Temple has 5 arrows. Wow. I am 100% going to that Shadow Temple.
Wait, there's another hole.
Yeah, we got multi-hole.
Multi-hole.
The Filbo Baggins,
Is this just
I have some
bombs
Twilight words of wisdom
coins?
for you.
Oh, that's
you pass your death anniversary every year without knowing the date.
Oh, yeah, that's a cursed one.
It's just like a junk pile.
Yeah, that was just garbage.
Yay, dirty bean
Hello,
water.
Techno! So thank you so much for the lurk. I hope you're doing well.
Oh, there's a spider. Oh, bomb. Might as well grab it just to... so the spider
I don't know
doesn't
if
come
I can.
back. Yeah.
Okay. Hole.
Okay, is it in here?
The craft? Nope. Oh my god, that was weird.
What about this place's way of the hero? I don't understand. So far, nothing here has been valuable. Oh, okay. Oh. There we go. Goron bracelet, that's something. That's actually something. Did it start rain? I think you started it raining in the cave.
Yeah.
Of course it rains underground. Finally a useful item, yeah. It was like, it said way of the hero, so I was expecting like 20 useful items, and it gave us 1 so far. Now, to be fair, it was an important item. You do need the gauntlets to lift stuff, but... Okay. Okay, I guess we're going to Zora's Domain. Oh, we can check out the ice cavern. That might be a temple.
Yeah. Yar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, pot. Cerveza Golden. Oh, they're all frozen. Okay. Let's see if King Zora is frozen to death. Yay! I mean, oh no!
Terrible fate for the Zora.
Oh no, he's frozen to death. Oh, so sad. Oh no. Okay, I'm just leaving. I keep waiting for a single one of those roll modes to go ahoy! 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 Oh god.
Oh god! Oh!
Oh, it's from below! There we go. Okay. The item out there is 3 arrows. We don't care about that. Okay. Link's just afraid of everything, okay? Is this the Gerudo training grounds? Oh my god, okay.
Oh.
This is not what I expected, but sure, we can try this. Oh, we got a minute to kill everything in the room.
I think I killed it. Fucking die! What else is left?
We did it.
Oh, okay.
He just took a long time to die. Okay, cool. That room's clear. Oh, my face!
Oh!
The bat tried to push me back into it. Oh, do I need the grapple hook for this room?
Oh.
Oh, the boulders are still here. Okay. Might need the grapple hook to actually complete this room.
Yeah, looks like it.
Oh, there's a timer too? Oh yeah, this is...
Oh. Oh, damn.
Worth.
Huh.
Yeah, there's just one floating up there. It's not gonna work. Okay, let's get out of here. That's alright. Can't beat one room, big whoop. There should be a lot of chests and stuff in here, though. Although, to be fair, I think grass patches are more important in this than chests because they can hold so many items. Apparently, we have 9 keys for this place already, too.
Yay, nuts!
Not. Man, we don't need Skull Tula tokens.
So many doors.
Okay, I just wanted to see if there was a way up there. There's a chest up there. Oh. Okay, back through the doors. All the way back. Back through all the doors of the doors, to the door, and the door. Door. Welcome to Real Fake Doors, the doors that go nowhere.
Yeah.
We're gonna install 15 locked doors in this room that lead to nothing. For 27 easy installments of $9.99 plus shipping, handling, dues, and taxes, and environmental fees, you too could have real fake doors. Wow. I mean, to be fair, Link's got a lot of beer.
Oh yeah.
Like right now I have...
He's a grown man now.
Yeah, I have 999 beer. Oh, it's another one of these, rupee rooms. I don't know if I can do it without a hook shot again. Oh.
Oh, hello.
Battle room? Okay.
I need fire. I need fire.
we did it. Now, will there be anything valuable? Nope. Maybe this place was a fool's dungeon.
It's a fool's place.
Oh, right. I forgot about the little shop piece right there. Oh my god, Ferrari's Wind!
Oh my god!
The worst of the 3 spells, but at least it's a spell. It basically lets you teleport back to a spot in the dungeon.
It is something.
Yeah. We courageously set a save point. Okay. I'm gonna take us to the fire temple, I think. See what's over there. Down A, right down, right down. What? That's not the song I played. Because we have the... Wait, it's too hot. I have the suit on. Did I take it off? Oh. Whoops. There we go. Now it's not too hot. Let's go! What temple? Watch it be like the water temple. Oh.
Oh.
Wow, imagine the wrist strength to catch that ladder like that.
Yeah.
Bottom of the well! Oh, we gotta be here as a child, though.
Oh, shit, we gotta go back. We gotta go back.
Oh, heck. Hold on, I think it's actually faster to save and quit. Is there a way to save and quit?
Oh, don't fuck up the randomizer.
There we go. Yep, it worked.
You're tiny!
Tactics. Oh, we gotta go back there. That's supposed to be Way of the Hero, so that'll be perfect. Now you can crawl. Oh, I see. Because I probably wouldn't have let me, honestly.
Crawl, please. I glide, sneak, and nom my way straight to the shinies and meet. Soot's brilliant at games and art. Tweak's great at programming, but only okay at games. Rye's suspicious, Lucy judges adorably, mythical menagerie forever, and pickles are not real.
Wow. Why'd you just do like a breakdown on everybody?
Weird!
Wow, it's like great at programming, but okay at games. Thanks, Zip. I guess I suck at video games. Can't believe we found the bottom well, and it's the Song of Storms. What monstrosities do you think? Oh, we don't have Lens of Truth, so we're gonna have to do everything invisible by memory.
Oh god, I hope you have that.
Oh.
And your brain cell.
Yeah.
I sure don't.
There should be a door here. Yep.
Nice.
I've done this in randomizers so many times now, it's kind of like... The lens... Oh my gosh, now we don't need to.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah, what the heck? This randomizer is actually really fun. I might save this for, for later. Like, we're busy the next little while, but we might come back to this randomizer after.
Oh yeah, we can keep it.
Oh, we don't have magic. We can't actually use it.
Honestly, Shiba Harkinian is like something I'm totally down for repeating. Because of how different it's always gonna be.
Yeah, I needed magic power. It didn't work. Oh yeah, we gotta light all these. Let me get you a stick.
Give me stick.
Oh god.
Oh, that wasn't me.
Sure it wasn't. I believe
That wasn't me!
Oh god. It spawned a mini wolf. Oh, and a mini dark nut.
Oh no. Oh no.
This one's gonna be able to hit me, isn't he? Oh god, oh my god, he's so tiny but so strong. He's got the power of the tiny. I'll do my Majora's Mask tactic.
The power of the tiny. Oh my god, I can't even tell what's happening.
Majora's Mask tactic. Just blow him up until he dies.
Explode. Explosion.
Oh god.
Perfect timing.
He's sprinting.
At least dropping the shiny loop. Soot would have turned it into wild magic art. Tweak blend block pots and coffee, and Rye is suspiciously quiet.
Hearts.
Get the hearts. Oh god, Wolfos!
Just dodging you.
Oh my god!
Oh god, ow!
It's so fucking tiny! Oh my god.
I think it just kept dodging your bombs. Okay.
Please!
Okay, that was 2 of the torches. Let's see what's in the other ones. Oh, it's a clam! Okay, we don't need the clam. I think you can only kill that with a hook shot, so that might be
Oh, okay, yeah.
Egg! That's fine. Might as well light that last torch, see what happens.
Egg!
Wait, did any of these have anything in them that we needed?
God.
Huh. It's hard to see inside of them. That's a heart. What do you have? A beer. Okay, there was nothing in here. We did all this for nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
That hand's after you.
Yeah, I don't know why I wanted my booty so bad. Maybe it's a handophile. And it was looking for young hands.
No, thank you.
That's really weird. Oh. Okay. I think this side's safe? Yeah. So we gotta... Yep. Perfect. Man, the fact that I had to remember which side was safe, because there's a pit there. We can drain the water here. Which I couldn't do this in the randomizer, because I never found Zelda's Lullaby. This is going better than the Mega Rando. Like, that's how crazy.
Oh god, the Mega Rando.
Oh, I better get you stick back, just in case. Okay. So there's a couple more chests over here. No. I think one's here. No? Where is it? There's an invisible wall here somewhere. There it is. Oh god!
Ow.
He found it!
It's too tiny! It's too fucking small!
I'm just gonna leave him trapped in there. That seems fine.
Oh.
Whoa!
Oh, whoa! Oh my god, why?
What is happening in this room? Okay, there is a path across here. I have no idea how to determine what it is, so... Nope. Okay. Oh, more stuff.
Yeah, more stuff. I love stuff.
Should be lots of grass down here too. Okay, so far nothing crazy. We did get the lens of truth though, so that could have been the like god tier item. Oh, awesome. Anything over here? Nope. Just another way to fall down. Ah!
I am so sorry. Oh, my bad.
My kidneys. Oh. Nice. Big chest. Beer. A single Greg.
Yep.
Oh, that's a Dodongo.
Oh, it's so teeny. It's a baby.
Okay. Excellent. Oh, here's all the grass. I knew there was grass down here somewhere.
So much grass. But where's the throw something on?
Oh yeah, that's not supposed to be on. There's no throw something silly.
It's because Tweak doesn't have it turned on for him.
Yeah. Because we can't sync it to 2 accounts at the same time. It's weird.
It's like, that stuff should have been... Oh, my stuff all turned on?
Oh, interesting. I mean, you can do most of it besides to throw something, to be fair.
It's just to throw something, yeah.
Okay, okay, where do I need to go? I haven't gone here. Oh! Oh my god! Oh, it was an ice trap. I was so excited, but it was fake. It tricked me. I fell for the trick.
Fool!
What a fool be I. Hold on. Let me fish.
Oh!
That's how you fish. Explosives.
I'm taking notes.
Uh-oh.
Oh!
Oh, he's tiny! Oh god!
He's so tiny!
He's coming for me! Oh god! Ah! Oh, he's coming for me!
Oh my god! Tiny! Look at him!
Get back here! You little bugger! Tiny dead hand. Wait, did you kill him?
I think he's dead? No? Yes? No? Okay, he's just unhinging.
He's just being weird. But he went back on the ground, okay. Oh! Oh, there he is! Tiny dead hand back! Okay. There we go. I don't know if bombs... Oh, they do look like they're making glow red. It's hard to tell with them.
Oh, did we do it?
No, there's a visible chest there. I just wanted to kick it.
Oh!
You can tell how much I know this game when I'm just like, oh yeah, there's a visible chest in the back of this room right here.
Oh, there he is, there he is. It's a shared camera.
Yeah, sure is.
Oh, it's a little weird, but
Suit
not
has to like fly around. There is a mod that we haven't tried yet that makes it so everyone plays Link and just plays together.
Oh yeah, I want to do that. But the fairy mod is, honestly, if you want to just play co-op, you gotta do the fairy mod. If,
yeah,
like,
the fairy mod's fun.
It's hilarious. So I'm the fairy.
You do have to turn on some cheats. Like, we turn on infinite ammo and bombs and magic because the fairy burns through them really fast, so... Like, once you get the item, the fairy can kind of just go crazy. Did that Arrowwing follow me? What the heck?
I think so.
Okay. Oh yeah, it did follow me. Oh god.
Oh,
Everything's after me. I think there's a secret path over here. Or not so secret, I guess. Oh yeah, there's a fake floor here. I think. Or is it just a keyboard?
I hear the R-Wing.
It really wants to chase me.
It's trying. Oh, clam!
The floor here's fake.
Fucking clam. Get it. I pushed him into the floor!
I'm trying to tell where the floor is. That's real.
It's over here. I pushed the clam into it.
Oh yeah, but there's like holes all through this area.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, I can kind of see them through the floor there.
Yeah. Oh, you got a question?
Yes.
What is the question?
Can you fly down at all? Just to see if you can fly through the floor? Oh, okay, that's fake.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, okay. Fake. Should we, like, maybe... Okay, that's fake. Okay, so I can't go that way. Okay, that's immediately fake. Oh. That looks solid. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Why'd it turn into more stuff?
Yeah, I am the fairy.
Oh, okay.
How would you come up with the channel name Sipco Gaming Guild? Oh, that's so it goes back quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Really.
Oh no!
Oh, you should have waited.
Yeah, I just kind of came out of the chest animation. I'm like, oh, there's the door.
Oh, you got the chest.
Yeah. There's one more door up there if we can make it through that room.
But basically, early Sipco started as like a board game business. We went to conventions a lot and stuff. So like, and it's also it's a spin on the family name.
Yeah.
A bit.
Also coffee. Who doesn't like a Sipco?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, it's been a small business, longer before becoming a streaming channel and everything. We just like to make cool stuff and entertain and just have fun with you guys.
You can sip tea. Or soda. Or hot chocolate. Yeah, I mean, technically anyone that doesn't like coffee is a heretic, that's fair. Okay, so I went across this way. And then we went across... Oh god. Oh god, there's a hand. Oh god.
Ah! But yeah, like, it's funny. Everything's kind of tied to, like, just, like, the things we really enjoy. From, like, tabletop to, like, video games and the modded silliness we do.
Okay, so we gotta get to that door somehow. Man.
Okay, okay,
Do you think it's in the middle of the room?
Ah.
I can walk over here. Oh, that's a pit.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Oh. Is it all falls? What the heck? It's gotta be like that way, right? Maybe that way? Oh. Well, you went a little further that way. Oh. Oh. No.
Oh my god.
Just got.
Where
oh god.
This?
Oh, you found a path there. Was it just diagonal, maybe?
Oh.
Okay, it's just diagonal.
Okay, okay.
There's just infinite battle music in this world. Murder the spider! So, okay. So what do we all get here? Because we've gotten pretty much all the chests.
Also, I don't know if I answered the question. Yeah, I'm the fairy, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Suit is the fairy. We're using tactics you could never actually use in this game because Suit's a fairy.
I didn't betray. I didn't do anything. I helped him get through that.
Oh, for being a leaf lover special?
Oh.
I can't. You're in the way of the ladder. I can't.
Oh, what?
Thank you.
I'm just a little fairy. How did I, like...
He can body block Hidden Link. I guess there's no boss in the bottom of the well, so... Are there any other... There was some more chests on the map I saw. Yeah, there's... It's like in the middle. Oh, okay, I know where one is. One's over here. Okay, that's fine. And one's in the middle somewhere. Man, there's so many. The randomizer of the enemies is the scariest thing in here.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
I guess we should check this door. Oh. Oh my god, that sends fire. Yeah. A fireball engulfing everything. Oh, it uses magic though. But still, that's a good one.
Yeah. We just need to get magic.
Okay. Sorry, couldn't let them get away. Okay, so there's still a chest. Was it here? No, there's no chest here. Huh. I'm not sure where that chest is. I just crawled up those hands. We can always explore somewhere else if we want. Although we should maybe wrap it up soon too. Like if we want to like, because we can do more of this for sure. I'll just save it for
we can definitely
a day we feel like doing more crowd control.
Yeah, like either on like a Wednesday or on well, we'll see with the spooky season. Like we have so much we want to do, but we can always like squeeze it in.
Yeah, it's because it's basically a randomizer. It's like, you know.
Oh yeah. But, like, damn, thank you everybody who supported.
Yeah.
We really wanted to do, like, a fun thing with crowd control. I think,
That was terrifying.
I'm gonna definitely keep the scuffed art idea.
Yeah, that was a
for something later, because that was a ton of fun. I would like to do more of it.
Yeah.
I feel like this kind of spin wheel idea would have to be for like a bigger day to try some fun stuff. Or like could do for charity.
Yeah.
It's also a good idea.
That'd be a fun one, yeah.
But I definitely want to do like the scuffed art stuff.
Oh yeah, here, let me end the session. So next week, just so everyone knows, we are going to have like a lot of new games.
We have like the only one that's sort of not new, I would say, is Goblin Cleanup. We have done some early testing streams.
Yeah.
For it, since we were a part of the Kickstarter. And yeah.
Also got
Jump Space.
Yep,
we
Jump
were going to be
Space
streaming
on
that
Yep.
on Monday. Goblin Cleanup Tuesday, and I want to stream a lot of that. I'm like, oh my god, it's so much fun.
Yeah, Goblin Cleanup's Tuesday. Wednesday's Groton with GM.
Right, it's a full week too.
Yeah, Thursday is... Sorry, you can go for Thursday.
Thursday, because I just finished up Death's Door. we're gonna continue my Spyro 2 Archipelago.
Yeah.
See how much we can get done. And then Friday, like a Sonic Crossworlds.
Yeah, Sonic Crossworlds. Oh man, that we were debating on getting it, and then we played the playtest for it, and it was so good.
It's so fun. Oh. So we're gonna do a
every racing
community thing. So if you have the game, you are free to join us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's exciting. So a lot of fun stuff. I am looking forward.
Yeah. Because I've played, like, even, like, Mario Kart World and stuff, and it's like, no, Sonic's Crossworlds, like, just significantly better racing game. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Who should we rate out to? Yeah?
Whoa. Sorry, who did you suggest?
Oh no, I haven't suggested anyone yet. I'm just trying to figure out who to...
there's a lot of people on. Who will be doing stuff? That Numbskull's doing Jump Space. Have we rated them?
Good question. I don't know if we have. But Jump Space is a game we want to play on Monday. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it, so we can send you over that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it's launch day for it, too, so...
They're like a Draco Lich.
Yeah, I have them followed as well.
Oh, yeah, you do? Okay. Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah, but we'll send you over there. Enjoy some Jump Space. We will be doing some Jump Space on Monday. If you want to come check it out with the crew here. And, yeah, get prepared for a week of just, like, all new release games and, like, a lot of new stuff. So if you're interested in anything like Jump Space or Goblin Cleanup or Sonic Crossworlds and you want to, like, see what it's about, join us next week, because you'll get a good preview of all of them.
And again, just thank you, everybody, for all the support this month.
Oh, yeah.
And today, especially.
It's been very good.
Really appreciate it. And we just always want to have, like, a good time with everybody.
Yeah. And we hope everyone has a good rest of their Friday and weekend. Have a good evening, everybody. And don't trust the fairy.
Don't trust the explosion fairy.
Yeah, explosion fairies. They don't trust me.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.